Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, there's a pause.
Welcome to another episode of Tumbleweeds and Tombstones, the game where each week my players accuse me of trying to kill them, and I'd have to remind them that they're already dead.
I just lost my pause.
Could we undead ourselves?
Too much undead.
Undead? I guess that'd be a way if you were able to remove the curse of vampirism.
I'm just saying I don't not like double negatives.
I believe
Anyway.
Lava Girl can do it.
I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving for those who participate. The seasons are changing. The days are getting colder. Danny has a new hair color. It's the passage of time.
I was left unattended.
Hope everyone had a good break. We're going to go ahead and jump into tonight's recap. So when last we left the Spurs, they were in the middle of this plateau that their lupine guide PETA had suggested they take this tunnel, as it is probably less guarded and watched by the other members of his pack. However, much to even his own surprise, it seems like this path led you through to a burial ground of his people and was magically warded to stop those who were not members of the tribe of coming through, as the skeletal remains of both humanoid and full battle forms of lupine did descend upon you, or rise to meet you, I should say. You guys did battle with them, realizing that your weapons weren't quite doing as much damage as they normally did, but one by one, slowly dispersing the spirits, taking a bit of damage, at least some of you yourselves as well. And we just finished with you finishing off the last of these spirits.
Finished.
And that is where we left off. So let's go ahead and jump into tonight's game. So, Spurs. You're standing around looking at each other, looking at this cavern inside this plateau, kind of taking stock of what's happening, look around, seeing no more immediate threats, and bones scattered around.
Liam is continuing to sift through that pile of bones in front of him and get as many werewolf claws as possible.
Okay. Are you doing this stealthily, or are you doing this brazenly?
The only person who's near me right now is Asmodeus, and I was kind of using like the discretion of everyone, and I'm actually one of the only ones emitting light anyways.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm a little further from everyone, still off in that upper north corner.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you looking? You're looking specifically for lupine claws?
Yep, I already got 3 so far.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception plus investigation check for me, please.
Just to clarify, did these skeletons come out of the ground, as in made a hole out, or did
Correct.
were they already around the ground? Okay.
No,
so
they dug out from underneath the earth.
Crust bursters.
I'm gonna point at the holes in the ground and kind of ask PETA, would you like me to put them back?
Thank you, Danny. PETA looks at you, and I'll say, Noah, go ahead and give me a perception plus empathy roll, please.
All right, I have no empathy.
Okay, so then that's going to be difficulty 7 if you have no empathy.
Oh no, I think that's
Well,
just
then I got-
naturally.
He seems a little shook right now, is the most you're getting out of it. You get the idea that these were legends, stories, and they've come true. And these are literally his ancestors that just broke through to the ground.
Gonna make your ancestors dizzy.
He nods and he goes, yes, please. And he looks up and let's see if he notices. Okay. So Liam, you're digging through and you see another one of the fallen lupine skeletons, and you obviously see the talons that are attached. Unlike human fingernails that seem to be not attached to the skeletal structure, these actually are talons that are like the end bits of the finger, each one of them being about yay big. You hear footsteps approaching from behind you. Let's see, where would you be?
So I was with Asmodeus on like the north west corner, kind of away from everyone else.
So this would be from behind you. You hear quickly approaching footprints. If you glance, do you glance behind?
Yes.
PETA is standing there, and he's just staring daggers at you. Please stop defiling the bodies of my ancestors.
In a minute.
No. You want me to continue to guide you? Leave them be.
It seems as though you don't exactly know what's going to be coming through here, and I like to be prepared as much as possible. But fine.
I will say he didn't notice you grab the initial 3.
Well, because that was during combat, and they were
correct. So he was a little preoccupied. So I will say that you can add to your inventory, if you haven't already, that you have 3 lupine claws. Actually, you know what? I'll give you 4. I'll say that before he walked up, while you were investigating post-battle, that you were able to break off a 4th one before he seemed to notice what you were doing. So I'll say you have 4 of them. At this point, he takes the time and he seems to be murmuring under his breath. He seems to be almost saying a prayer as he slowly starts to gather up the bones and brings them over to the holes that they seem to come out of. And I'll say all of you can go ahead and give me a perception empathy roll. Standard difficulty, unless you don't have empathy, then difficulty 7.
Can I at least keep a spear?
Ask this out. You legitimately ask this out loud?
Yes.
0.
0, okay. You just see him wave it off, as in like he doesn't seem like he's gonna stop you on that.
Missed it last time.
So yes, you can add lupine spear to your inventory. Okay, Atreus, you're just kind of racking. I will say 1 success for Walter.
I botched.
He's fine. Whatever. This is cool.
I'm more preoccupied with the giant hole in my chest.
Yeah, I mean, who hasn't fought / murdered their family, right? Wea, like, you know,
just those tribal things,
Liam, 2 successes. Okay, I'll say you and Walter, you definitely get that. This is already new territory for him in more than the literal sense of choosing to side with vampires, which are mortal enemies of his kind. More than half of you also being white people that are, also kind of not really doing great with the Comanche side of things.
It's not me this time.
this was kind of another rattling thing to him, wondering if his moral compass is pointing to the right. He's trying. You can see that he's kind of. I'll say Liam, especially you, Walter. That's as much as you get with your single success. Liam, who got 2 successes, you get that he just lost his chieftain / father. He's siding with creatures that he's been told since he was born are the enemy of, the natural order of things. But he's trying, everything you've gotten from this guy is that he's trying to do right by his people. He's trying to help the greater good. And something like this, his literal ancestors rising up against him in opposition of what he's doing, aka leading you guys to the village, it's shaking his resolve on whether or not he's doing the right thing. That pesky morality thing. But beyond that, he seems to be saying something of a prayer and taking the bones back. And with Noah's help, he slowly puts them in, covers the earth back over them, and seems to be saying something of a prayer over the remains of his people.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention that while I was putting the bones in there, I did cast conceal on a couple of them and the skull. I just put a couple talons inside the skull and I cast conceal on the whole thing. And
okay, so I am gonna I will say that to be fair, because this was the same thing that I made Liam do, the talons are attached to like these large hands that are like bigger than the size of your head. So it's not just an easy thing of subtly taking the talons. You would have to
so
break
they're not
them off.
detached, they're literally okay.
Yeah, because like with actual dogs and cats, the claws are actually attached to the finger bones, which is why it's not great to declaw an animal.
All right.
So
I think I
given
just
how
take the skull then.
okay,
If I
so
could.
then I'm gonna make you make a manipulation plus stealth roll. Difficulty is going to be 8 to try and do this without being noticed.
I got 4 after the
Okay,
reroll.
that'll do it. Now, question for you, just for my own sake. Are you able to cast different, like if you cast one conceal, if you end up casting conceal again, does it drop the first conceal?
I think it would.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to try and move this to the back of the carriage as quick as I can.
How are you going to move it without looking like you're like in an improv group holding this, because again, it's a full, I assume you went for the full lupine, not the humanoid skull, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
The big one.
So you're looking at a skull that's about yay big. So describe to me how you got the roll for you cast concealment without him noticing. As a matter of fact, everyone else go ahead and give me a perception alertness to see if you catch Noah doing this. The score to beat is 4.
Damn it.
Well-
I got
Okay, Atris, you're not paying attention.
0.
Hold on, I got some rerolls. Yep, 5.
Yeah, Liam, you totally see him doing this. Like while PETA's back is turned to him and he was focusing on like lecturing you about not defacing the corpses of his ancestors, you see Noah just like over his shoulder, behind his shoulder going,
Okay, so if I notice that, can I then just attempt to further distract PETA?
Sure. How would you like to try and just, but before we get to that, Walter, what was your role?
Nothing.
You notice bullshit. Chad.
Like 3, not enough to notice.
Okay, then yeah, none of you except for Liam realize that he's doing this. How would you like to try and distract Peter?
I just look. I'm sorry. I know what's going on is very much. We'll call it taboo for a lighter word, but I'm a bit frazzled, and unfortunately, I don't have much in the way of. I had a troubled childhood, and I'm a kleptomaniac. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm not going to make you roll subterfuge because that's all true. You know.
I am attempting to get back a willpower for being a conniver.
I'll give you a willpower for that. That is very much true. Go ahead and roll your charisma plus expression. And I'm going to say it's difficulty 7 only because the trust is so. You have a tentative piece with this guy.
I gave him the necklace back.
You did, which is why it's not higher difficulty. Because he already doesn't trust vampires, and you're kind of like the poster child for why.
Div 7, I got 1.
Okay. Not much longer, but you at least, in the fact that he's not ignoring you, you're holding his attention. So Noah, how do you want to try and get this giant wolf-like skull into the carriage?
I'm gonna try and wrap it under my arm and carry it like a big old football. And while I'm doing that, I'm trying to grab onto my back, sort of make it look like I'm hurting while I heft this thing over. I mean, no one should be able to see it, so it should just look like I'm limping over there.
I need you to make a manipulation plus performance roll. Do you have performance?
No.
Hey, full man.
Okay. So it's going to be difficulty 7.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got 2.
Okay. So for those of you who didn't see what he was doing, which is everyone except for, let's actually see. Who cares what Bartleby sees, but let's see.
Who the fuck cares?
Roll for him.
Sure. Roll for Bartleby. See what he notices. Perception. It's a perception alertness. You have to beat a score of 4.
Oddly enough, his stats on that are better than mine.
How he stays alive.
It would have been 4 if not for the 1. So
Okay, Bartleby doesn't notice, and then so many NPCs.
all of them.
Yeah, Henry doesn't notice, but Noah, as you're doing this, everyone else you're looking like, oh, Noah actually looks kind of hurt. Like maybe, I mean, not all of you were focused on him during the fight, but he's kind of gingerly like holding his back kind of thing. Almost looks like an old man that like got up too fast kind of thing. As you're doing this, Liam, you look over at Asmodeus, and Asmodeus just has this shit-eating grin as he's sitting there smiling, looking at Noah, tracking him with his eyes as Noah's making his way back to the carriage.
Fair.
And as Peter walks away, now we kind of had to backtrack a little bit, but as Peter walks away and starts reburying his ancestors, Asmodeus kind of just not even looking at you, but since you two are standing next to each other, I knew your group was a little bit fun.
Just a little.
I'd say overall, it takes about half an hour between the prayers and the reburying and everything else. And Peter does walk up to the walls, and it seems like he's trying to read the strange like scratch mark language that's on the walls next to the drawings of the protectors, which you guys figured out during the combat that when you hit those, it did damage to the spirit that was connected to the drawing. And he seems to be actively reading at this point. And for the record, Henry also he pulls out a little notebook and has a pencil and is looking at everything and taking like little notes and drawing down. Ever the scholar, this is fascinating to him. And
I'll just kind of go over where Henry is and just kind of use my ring to help illuminate the portions he's trying to scribe down.
And Henry's he's like, I personally don't really speak their language, but I figure if I at least copy it down, perhaps I can, if I ever find the right cipher, I'd be able to translate this later.
No, I'm pretty sure it goes something like
I'm sorry, do you have gas?
Quite impossible for someone in my condition.
He's just hitting on you.
Do any of you go up to PETA as he's reading what's on the walls?
Fucking Atris will.
Okay. Atris, you approach and he seems... I won't even make you roll for this. This is fascinating for him too, because again, he's never been this way before. So this is literally the stuff of legends. It would be like you going to a castle rune and seeing a story about your grandfather on there, you know.
She'll just simply ask, what have you been able to figure out?
Without even looking at you, he just comments that this is a very sacred place. Those who were buried here volunteered to be here. This was a place for warriors that chose to not let their spirits rejoin in the afterlife, but stay here and stay behind to protect this path from those that would do our people harm.
Quite a sacrifice for your people. I'm not an expert on how the process works, but it almost sounds similar to what we'd have to go through to essentially stay on this world on our own.
I just hope now that if there's any good to come from this, that by breaking the ritual that tethered them here, that they can find peace.
I very much wish for that as well.
He just kind of looks at you and nods. And well, if we're going to continue, we might as well get going. So I will note. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Atris.
Oh no, she was just saying very well.
Yeah. So Atris, do keep in mind that you do still have that damage to your sword. That's going to be a continuous penalty until you. Now, luckily, it was only I think it was like a double botch or something like that when you hit the rock. It doesn't quite need a blacksmith, so you don't have to take it necessarily to Josephine or anything like that. But you will, if to get rid of that penalty, you're going to have to spend time with a whetstone and spend time resharpening the blade. Everyone else, do keep in mind, I think someone marked it down, that the carriage is now slightly damaged because the horse is freaked out and end up crashing into a stalagmite. So
It has 5 of its 6 health states.
Yep.
And it
So-
retroactively heal with blood. Just figure out a way to feed the carriage.
I
We
mean,
need a flesh carriage. Let's go back to that ranch.
yeah, go back to the Shimisi and see if they can make you a flesh carriage.
No, please.
I want one that has actual blinkers.
Oh no, Danny.
Do you want mimics? Because that's how you get mimics.
There's a mental image here.
I mean, in your free time, look up cathedrals of flesh under the Shimisi and see what they are able to do.
It's got a wailing wall.
But yeah, so you gather things up. Now I will say that actually, I'm going to go ahead and just screen share this a little bit. 1 second. Okay, so this is kind of the layout of how everything is. This right here is this is the tunnel that you guys came in on.
Right.
There are 2 tunnels to the left and 2 tunnels to the right. Now, PETA starts to indicate that the top right tunnel is the one you need to progress onward. Are any of you going to try and convince him to kind of explore around on the other tunnels?
Hmm.
I want to get out of here.
Yeah, like it just is gonna be like we're not wanting to dawdle here, especially like if they like without knowing anything, like we just don't know if any more spirits are just gonna arise.
Okay.
Liam's just gonna kind of shine his ring up as high as he can and just see if there's any like bats in the rooftop.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception plus alertness, difficulty 7, just because of the height of the roof.
How heightful is this roof? We're talking like
Damn
more
it.
than 20 feet.
0.
Okay. I'd say it's around 30, 35 feet.
Either way, I got a 7 and a 1, so I got a 0.
Okay.
Nice big
You don't
cavern.
see any bats.
Oh. Oh well.
Doesn't mean they're not there, just you don't see them. Maybe
Well,
they
mostly
also,
I'm mostly just looking to see if there's any food we can shoot down.
fair enough. I mean, like I said, with that roll, you don't see anything. So PETA starts to walk beside his horse and start to lead you guys up the top right tunnel.
I'll say out loud to PETA. Seems like this is the first time you've been in here. Is there anything you're trying to see on your way through? Get him to kind of give Walter a pulse on how he feels about this place right now.
At this point, I'm trying to make sure that you all arrive to where we need to be in one piece. It does not help my people if those that are going to free us from the oppression of Ichitai die before they reach their destination.
I've been a freedom fighter before. Feels good to be back at it in a way of speaking. Thank you for that. Difficulties with your ancestors notwithstanding. And I'll just keep walking. Are we pulling the carriage?
I mean, the horses are still attached, so
I mean, like we're rolling with the carriage or whatever. So I don't actually know. Are we on foot or are we boarding? Team.
It just like there's not really because we're underground at this point. There's not really a reason for us to be in the carriage, being protected at this point, and we're kind of at walking pace depending on the tunnels.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. You guys remembered from the other tunnels that the tunnel that led in here, there wasn't a whole lot of clearance, especially since the fact that the gun turret already increases the height of the carriage. So it was easier to walk on foot rather than try and ride alongside.
I assume the horses need to be driven though. Like if so, Walter will do that.
Yeah, you can do that because luckily the seat of the carriage doesn't go higher than the gun turret. So you're able to have a person on there to drive the carriage.
I'll be next to Walter, just kind of all banged up with a huge hole in my chest and just taking it easy and not walking. Because I've suffered 4 ag from the last fight.
3 here.
No, some of you are looking pretty banged up. All right.
Oh.
You continue down the and by the upright tunnel, and you do notice that it gradually seems to be on an incline. You're slowly going uphill. As you're riding, Asmodeus speaks out to no one in particular. So what was the next part of that thing that you guys all sussed out? What was the next clue? I think we can assume that this is the shoulders of the grandfather.
About the tears of the waterfall on the.
I don't know it. Someone else wrote it down.
Hold on, I'm getting it.
Something about tears.
Buffering.
Oh.
I mean, I can read it off my notes, but Walter hasn't been one of the ones involved in this.
Let's see. Upon the shoulders of the grandfather, follow the mother's tears to their source. Which we determined was the river anyways.
Mm-hmm. So you, and as Moses goes, right, tears. Well, the first part was sure fun, so I just imagine the next part's going to be a hoot too.
Really hope it doesn't hurt as much or cause as much damage.
But I always think I've seen everything, and then I see, spiritual with skeletons. So, I'm open to be surprised again.
I will say that for most of you, ghosts are kind of one of those things that you've heard about the Giovanni and their supposed claim about necromancy and things of that nature. Again, between the murder vase and a couple other encounters you guys have, before those are just rumors. Like, just because you yourselves are supernatural beings doesn't mean that you believe in it. And I'll say the ratio of vampires that believe in ghosts and spirits and things like that are about the same ratio of mortals that believe in it. You have some that are very adamant about it. You have some that are very skeptical. It's one of those things of the Giovanni are such a insular clan that kind of keep to themselves and only involve themselves in other vampire affairs if it suits them. And it's one of those things of I know a guy who knows a guy who heard a story kind of thing. So it's one of those things of, but you're starting to sit there and go, shit, there's some undeniable evidence that's starting to open your eyes on what else is potentially real in this world.
I choose not to believe it.
Not to believe.
Denial is not just a river in Egypt. So as you guys continue along this incline, eventually up ahead, you start to see light and of the moon up ahead. And you see that this is probably the exit of this tunnel. And as you start to approach, PETA looks at back at all of you as he's the first one to look back, and he goes, all right, we need to be very careful along this side. The closer we get, the more chance of patrols there are, and this path is going to be very narrow, so we need to be very careful with the carriage.
I'm just gonna take out my stink sack. Just kind of make sure it's getting good amount of air.
He kind of and kind of winces a bit, and you guys hear from somewhere nearby Sonoy just kind of that thing that dogs do as they're trying to like blow something out of their nose.
I'm sorry, it's helpful.
As you guys all start to come out, there is a little bit of a lip to the side of this path, and you're able to all kind of bunch up, and you're looking down, and it is just a sheer drop down to the other side of this plateau. You're looking at a good 400 feet down. And so you very much get the idea that even for your kind, a stumble or a fall all the way down there would probably lead to torpor at the very least. And you see a path, and it's definitely traversable, but is in no way like a paved, you get the idea that this is normally for either the lupines in their wolf form or one by one riders with horses. It's a very narrow path. The carriage is just going to barely make it. And as you're kind of watching this switchback path that leads down, there's definitely going to be a couple of moments where it's going to be a close call with the carriage, where like a wheel might be almost hanging off the edge a bit.
Better hope the carriage doesn't topple over.
It's like a lot
I
of
hope I
fun.
don't topple over.
Liam, you want to see how far I can lean over there without the carriage falling?
Yes, actually.
I knew you'd say that. Keep walking.
All right. So I need Walter, you're driving the carriage, correct?
I have been, but if we at any point put people back inside, then I'll remount with Asmodeus on top.
Asmodeus is actually staying off the top right now.
Are we all walking?
Pretty much.
'Cause
I'm next to
I'm
you.
driving if so. Like we're same
Asmodeus-
situation.
Asmodeus looks at that, and he just looks up at the gun and kind of pats the carriage. Be safe, baby. And
Liam is going to go inside the carriage
okay.
just because he wants to be undisturbed while he's examining the lupine claws. He wants to see, since he has 4, he's not going to attempt yet, but he wants to see if there's any way he can like basically stack one on top of the other and make like a pseudo dagger out of 2 each.
Okay.
He's just examining them for this purpose.
Yeah.
He knows Leia is a better person to talk to about this.
Okay, so Liam is inside the carriage. I'll say Bartleby is in there with you. Henry is also choosing to walk. Peta's choosing to walk. Does anyone else want to get inside the carriage with Liam and Bartleby?
Currently interested in staying outside.
Okay.
Henry
So-
question mark?
Wea, what are you
Henry
doing?
question mark?
I'm next to Walter.
Okay, so Wea and Walter are riding. Okay, cool. So I need everyone who's walking to go ahead and give me a Dex athletics roll Difficulty is 8 because this is snowy, it is slippery, it is not great. And then Walter, who is driving, I need you to give me a Dex plus Animal Ken.
Oh, not ride. Okay.
Oh,
And
well, because you're technically driving, not riding at this point.
Right. Yeah.
A just got 2 successes.
Okay.
I have 11 die to roll for that.
I need to start using the dice jail. I have 3 successes on this though.
Okay, cool. Noah? 2, all right. So yeah, let me roll for fine. Fine. Yeah. There you go. Nothing like having to roll for 3 NPCs. All right. Yeah. All right. So for the first leg of this, you're all good. You're able to keep the carriage pretty well on the path. It is a bumpy ride. It is not a comfortable ride. There are patches of ice on here that make it even more sketchy at times, but you're able to maintain. Liam, as you are riding inside with what you then see to be a lupine skull sitting in on one of the seats next to you, I'll say, Noah, I assume you probably like wrapped it up or something like that, just in case PETA gets in the carriage.
Yeah, I would throw some clothes over it or something.
Okay. So I'll then say, Liam, you and Bartleby see kind of suspicious lump of clothing on one of the bench seats on there, which since you saw what happened, you have a sneaking suspicion of what that is. And you take out the 4 lupine claws. And he said you want to try and start to suss out how you can turn these into a weapon.
Yep.
Okay.
I kind of want to see if like there's a way to like stack them like inverse, like it's finger and finger, so I get like kind of like a dagger-esque shape.
Okay.
But the plan is to talk to Whale before I actually make attempts to do this.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a wits plus craft roll.
Still no. None of us have craft.
Okay. Then it's going to be difficulty 7 for you.
This is you practicing.
This is
He's
you
learning.
justifying the XP expenditure later.
How do you get better except by failing?
1.
You think it definitely can be done. There's definitely something in this of you've seen more primitive weaponry where it takes bone or things and using leather, lashing it to something else. You could definitely probably make some kind of weapon out of this, but as you usually are the kind of person that just pays someone to be clever for you when it comes to this kind of stuff, you suss out that it's probably doable, but as far as the specific mechanics of it, you're probably going to either need to spend more time thinking about it or talk to someone who's probably a little bit more knowledgeable in such things as far as the how.
Oh. Like the temptation to like prick my own finger is high, but I'm like, that's all I need right now is ag damage.
Go ahead and give me another wits plus. I'm going to say wits plus melee roll.
Oh, okay. 4.
As you're looking at the claws and examining them, it will take some testing to figure out what level of damage. Obviously, the concepts of ag versus lethal are game mechanics versus actual like things that Liam would be thinking about. But in the sense of the level of damage that it does, you get the idea that part of what makes them so deadly is the force behind it of having this 9-10 foot tall muscular creature ramming. It's one of those things of a tornado can throw a pencil through a tree because of the amount of force it has behind it. So it would take some experimentation to see, is it the supernatural quality of these being talons of this creature that make it do as much damage as it normally does? Or is there something in the fact of behind the physical musculature of the animal that leads to them being even more deadly than just a normal dagger or blade of a similar size?
Physics is a fickle bitch.
Yes. But it's worth, you at least think that it's worth looking into and experimenting with. All right, so you guys are starting to take this. I'd say at this point, we're starting to reach it, be about, I think when you guys reached the plateau, it was about midnight-ish. So now we're starting to approach like 1 o'clock in the morning. You get to the first leg of this, and it starts the switchback of the path, just kind of zigzagging down the other side of this plateau, very similar to how the incline on the other side was. I need everyone to go ahead and make another Dex Athletics if you're walking, Dex Animal Ken if you're driving. If you're riding in the carriage, you're not doing anything, you're just hoping.
Don't worry, your safety is in my hands.
4 successes.
And Wea's
Full
dice.
successes. Atris, you're used to being nimble and agile, so this actually isn't much of a challenge for you. If anything, you feel more secure on foot than you do on horseback in this case, because you're able to be in complete control of your movement.
I probably should have asked this before. I assume cat-like balance would apply to this.
5 successes. Yeah. Walter, you've dealt with carriages and horses. Nothing necessarily this steep before, but for you, this is almost just, how to get these horses where they need to get. Way ahead you do.
I'm riding next to Walter.
That's right, you are. And Noah, how'd you do?
4 successes.
Not a problem. As you guys start to descend, I will say that for the better part of this trip, it's taking time. You are by no means going quickly. This is very slow and arduous because every bit of movement needs to be well, and there are times with the carriage that you all have to kind of get behind and kind of help push it or help maneuver it, because there are rocks and things like that in the way, that you have to make sure that the carriage doesn't bounce so much that its equilibrium is set off. And it is a very slow trek. Everyone give me one last roll.
Liam is just going to, just for the fuck of it, just poke one of his fingers.
Okay.
He'll do the pinky,
Okay.
the most hoity-toity of digits.
Which is funny because even the point of this thing, given the size of the talon, is like trying to stab your finger with like a T-Rex tooth. Like it's the thing of it takes up most of the finger, where if you pushed hard enough, you could probably sever it. 5. Okay. Damn. This is getting easier and easier for Atris.
He's doing back
It's enough.
handsprings and shit.
Noah, how did you do? Noah,
I'm sorry.
I forgive you.
What was the roll?
Dex
Oh,
Athletics.
for the last one, I did 2. I'm sorry, I thought you saw it.
Oh,
This is the third.
this is the third roll.
One.
Yes.
They're
Three
back-to-back
success on last
rolls.
roll.
Back roll.
Okay. Liam, you take one lethal. You can try and soak it if you want, but or
With
just
my
heal
eight-
it up reflexively.
With my 8 dice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Watch.
You definitely get the idea that just the cut itself is probably going to be much like a more like a dirk, like in between a dagger and a sword, like somewhere in between. It definitely will do lethal damage. But as far as but you also get the idea. Go ahead and give me a int plus occult roll. This is still the bone of a supernatural creature. Like, this isn't just a wolf bone. This is the claw of a lupine, and one who had undergone. I'll say with that, you've been looking at these talons, and you notice very, very smallly etched in them that same claw language that you saw on the walls, both here and at Star Rock. You notice that it's very subtly etched in the talons themselves. And given what PETA said, you get the idea that there was something done to the bones of these individuals to help with the ritual and help tether them and their spirits to the goal and purpose of defending that passage. Finding the right person who knows what to do with supernatural remains like this, there might be something that you could do with this to make it a little bit more oomph to it.
While I'm in the carriage, I'll just copy down what little I can make out. And
Okay. So you all make it. It takes the better part of 3 hours to get from where you came out from the tunnels down to the ground level, trying to take it safe and cautiously. And you guys do good. Yeah, there's not really a whole lot of even close calls other than just having to be cautious and everything else. As you start to come down, you notice that there is hard to tell if it's a small lake or a large pond, but you see it covered in ice. And it seems to be that it kind of spills out here and collects near where the bottom of this path goes. And you see a frozen river heading in the distance in the direction that PETA seems to be leading you. And you get the idea that this might be the tears of the mother that you're supposed to find the source of and continue forward.
Yeah, I guess we're heading to the source.
We know which direction it goes. Or sorry, which direction it would go.
Let's see. This one, it would actually be going west.
Okay.
Kind of
Are
a
we?
northwest direction.
If it's going on 4 a.m, we still have a couple hours or so before dawn? Question mark.
Yes. Yes. You've got
Um,
about 2.5 hours before dawn.
So we're plugging along. I'm taking a gander around for any signs of wolves and their tracks.
Okay. Perception plus alertness if you're just trying to glance around. If you really want to get down
I'm still in the carriage.
Okay, then
Driver's seat.
That's gonna be perception alertness. It would be perception investigation if you want to get off and actually like take a closer look.
Oh, I want to get. Never mind. I'm rolling dice.
Hey,
That's 4 successes.
Josephine's nowhere near here, so
That's a
we
damn
still-
shame.
Are we still at the like rugged plateau that doesn't have a lot of room?
No, at this point, you guys have gotten to where the path gets to ground level, and that's where you see that ice. Like I said, it's either a very large pond or a small lake, and then this frozen river that leads off in a northwest direction.
If that's the case, then I will have Sonoy start trying to scavenge around, see if he can find any animals and bring them
Okay.
back to us.
Perception plus investigation for Sonoy.
I was
4
gonna
successes.
say I'm attentive to if I just see any animals kind of as well, if I'm
Okay.
allowed to say that, but my goal is really tracking threats.
Okay.
Food is nice.
4 successes. Good.
You said it was what perception?
Investigation.
I don't think he has investigation.
Then
At least on my sheet.
let's see. I'm trying to remember what he has.
Strength, dexterity, stamina, perception, intelligence, wisdom, alertness, athletics, brawl, and stealth.
I'll say alertness at this point then.
Okay.
As we get to the bottom of the hill,
Mhm.
I'd like to get in the carriage and conceal the whole carriage.
Okay.
1 success.
Okay. Sonoy seems to find a specific spot nearby to where the path levels out, and he seems to be sniffing it, and he looks up to you and he kind of gives you that look that you've seen before of, you know, that he definitely smells kind of what he's looking for. He's smelling lupine at this point.
Is he pointing?
If it's that dangerous for him and he doesn't feel like he can do it and, you know, get away with it, then I won't let him go. I'll let him stay with us.
I mean, it's one of those things. He'll look at you and telepathically kind of communicate and knows they've been here, brother, but it's been a few days. And with 4 successes, Walter, you're kind of glancing around, and as you look, you do see parts of the path that seem to be, you see a little bit of like the muddy bank that's around where the river is, and you definitely see horse hoof prints, paw prints of what looks to be like a larger canine animal, and footprints. It's a little hard to determine. They don't seem to be like super fresh. It wasn't like they were made within the last couple hours or anything like that, but at least fresh enough that they're there and haven't been eroded away at this point.
I'll point that out to Wea without trying to be quiet. Just hoof prints. Big wolf prints too. And I'll nod toward the river bank.
That's not very reassuring, but we need to be careful.
And I guess the other question is then, do we become does the carriage become concealed?
Well, Noah made his roll. Noah, is there any roll you need to make or expenditure of anything?
No, it works like unseen presence.
Okay.
So I don't have to cast anything to activate it.
Okay. Then I kind of swore it was at least a blood expenditure.
Sean just wants our blood.
You know, it's
You have to pick the mine.
fair.
Collectively, as a group, we need to get some.
I'm trying.
The hell of a hole you got in your chest there.
All right. So what I want everyone to do is I want everyone to make a wits plus stealth roll for me. Difficulty is going to be standard, because thanks to Noah's help, you are anyone that's in the immediate vicinity of the carriage is now cloaked.
You said stealth and what?
Wits.
1 success.
Okay.
3 successes.
3 successes. 1 success.
I'm gonna spend a willpower.
Okay.
1 success.
Okay. Danny, roll for Bartleby. Chad, roll for Leia. I mean for Sonoy.
Anyway,
And Noah, go ahead. What was your roll?
I'm sorry, I was having a headphone problem. Could you tell me the roll?
It is wits plus stealth. Difficulty
Okay,
standard.
Well, Bartleby got
Wits
3.
plus stealth.
Yeah. Bartleby got 3, Danny?
Yep.
Okay.
Difficulty is
Standard 6.
okay.
1 success. First start.
Yay, 1 gang.
5.
Okay. So I'll say as a group that's relatively stealthy, Walter and Sonoy, there's a couple of times where you're afraid that for Walter, you're afraid that like the horses are going to make a bit of a noise, but you're able to keep them calm. And there's a couple of times that Sonoy's kind of sniffing around trying to look for things. And there's a couple of times that the snow's a little deeper than he expected, but nothing enough where it drops the obfuscate. And so you guys continue on following the path. Okay, so now that you guys are on even ground, is anyone going to continue on foot? Is anyone going to get back on horseback? Who's getting in the carriage? Who's going where?
by this point, Aegis will go ahead and resume previous position in the carriage. By
Okay.
I'll go in the carriage.
Okay. Wea and Walter, you're staying on the bench, or Walter, are you giving up the driving position to Liam if he wants it?
I'm gonna shout at Liam and ask him that.
Okay, go for it.
Actually, I would like to talk to Wea, so yes, that would be much appreciated.
Okay, sounds good. Um,
I'm gonna go ahead and assume you guys do this before the stealth and where you're not talking and breaking the obfuscate. And
this is like
shouting.
a coordinated effort instead of a
Yes.
random one,
yeah.
perhaps. I'll take the spot up top and I'll kind of look questioningly at Asmodeus.
Oh yeah, Asmodeus has already climbed back up now that it's not a chance of him tumbling over with the carriage. So
Never missing a chance to straddle his favorite.
exactly. So PETA continues to ride on his horse ahead of you guys with, I'll say, is Sonoy on the carriage, or is Sonoy kind of still sniffing around on the ground?
I'll have Sonoy get in the carriage.
Okay. So we have Liam and Wea on the bench seat. Asmodeus on the turret with Walter on the roof, and Atris and Noah and Bartleby and Henry.
if it's a bit too crowded, Aegis will, and since Wei is going to come in, Aegis will offer to go onto the bench with Walter.
You'll do
The
what?
bench has 2 on it already, and I'm not one of them.
Yeah, the bench is currently myself and Wea.
Okay, never mind then. Sorry, I thought Wei was going in.
It's
with you,
okay.
So never mind.
I'll say at this point, yeah, all of you can fit inside. It's a little cramped, but it's manageable.
Okay.
All right.
Walter's horse is just tied to this thing, by the way, and
Yep.
very rideable in case anyone has forgotten.
As Walter tries to pimp out his horse. All right, so you guys continue down the path with, I mean, at this point, it seems like PETA is pretty much following the river, just riding along the left bank of it. Okay, so Liam, you're up there with Wea. Who all would like to talk about anything. You got some time, as it's about 4 o'clock in the morning, dark, cold.
So, Wei, I know that you're a bit, in pain at the moment, but I'm wondering if you could help assess these talons that I picked up. I think they might be useful weapons if we can turn them into something. I figure your tribe might be good at weaponry, especially with something of bone and stone and leather.
We are useful people with the things we have, yes. And I take it you took that from the burial ground.
I did, and I did consider not telling you about it because I know what type of disrespect it actually is. But at the same time, I do have my, studded bracers to help myself in a fight, but I thought a little more might be good for our overall companions here, especially those that don't have regular silver weapons or things that are doing a lot of damage to the lupine.
While I would typically get upset about that, survival after all this comes first. Especially with how messed up I got last fight, we're going to need every bit of an advantage that we have. So your conniving usefulness definitely works out here. Let me see what I can do. And
I think that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
well, so far, I suppose. And I'll just kind of, I don't have anything on me right now, but I'll just kind of like take a look at it and see if I could like come up with an idea of how to make it into, like, put a little handle on it, or figure out how to make it more of a dagger or a little weapon.
Wits
It's not
plus.
just talent.
Go ahead and make a wits plus craft roll.
So just wits then.
None of us have craft stuff.
So I got a
Excellent.
question.
Yeah.
If my dice penalty makes it so I have no dice pool, do I even roll a dice?
You get basically a chance die. You roll a d10.
Is
a
his
7.
difficulty at least lowered because of his, actual life experience?
Yeah.
I
I'd
rolled
say.
a 7.
Okay. I'll say that does it. Again, you definitely think there's a way to do it. I'll say with one success, it's one of those things of you've seen things where people have made hatchets or weapons out of like staghorn or different things like that. So you definitely think there's a way to do this.
Is that the staghorn at this price?
You definitely think there's a way to do it. It would be, if you wanted to uphold, it's a matter of finding the right materials, like finding the treated leather, finding the right kind of wood, so that way the handle you wouldn't just use like pine or a softwood. You'd have to find something that's going to withstand battle. But it's definitely doable. You would just kind of have to hunt around for the proper materials if you don't want it to only last like 1 or 2 swipes before falling apart on you.
We would definitely need to find some resources to make this viable, but we could definitely do something with it. Just not at the moment.
Well, I think the area that we're in just naturally might be a good area to find some of these resources. But the intent is to give at least one to Atris and one to either Noah or Walter, so they could have something a bit more useful than their typical weapons.
I mean, it'll work now, but we're not going to find stuff to bind it or create anything that'll extend its use. So just hold tight to it, maybe give it to them and tell them to use it at close range. But we don't want it falling apart either.
Oh, understood.
By the way, Liam, I assume you turned off your ring. Otherwise, you would have been the higher.
I turned it off once we got outside. Sorry.
Yeah.
Seemed a
right,
little beacony.
You guys continue on for a bit. and you start to feel that dawn is approaching. I'm gonna say, go ahead for the group. Go ahead and give me a perception plus alertness roll. Standard difficulty. Let me know if you get more than 3 successes.
Or dice
Come
for the
on,
dice
reroll.
jail.
Ah,
4.
Oh, come
for
on.
Idris. 4 for Liam.
My reroll was a 1.
All right, Walter gets 3.
Oh, we're all doing this?
I got
Yeah.
a 5.
What is it? Perception.
Alertness,
Alertness.
standard difficulty. Noah, how'd you do?
I got 5.
5? Okay. Sorry, you were frozen there for a second.
Ever. Yep.
3.
Okay. I think I said more than 3 successes. So Walter and Wea, you don't quite notice this, but Atris, Liam, and Noah, you do. As you start to glance over at the frozen river, the moonlight is catching. There's snow on it, but there's bits where you see the actual ice itself. And after you've been traveling for about 2 hours, it's about 6 a.m. at this point, you guys are starting to know that's going to be at the point where you need to make some kind of plans for bedding down for the dawn. As you happen to glance over, the moonlight catches it at just the right point, and you start to notice a glitter that you see every so often. It's not like sequins, it's not a giant thing, but every so often you notice patches underneath the ice of a bit of a reflective glitter that seems
it's the Edward Cullen effect.
take another ag. But anyway, every time that is mentioned, referenced, or
You know, I try really hard.
another ag. But yeah, so you start to notice this.
Oh, well, that's pretty.
The water.
That doesn't seem to be it couldn't be natural. It's not consistent enough.
Yeah, you decide to take a closer look.
I would have to hop off.
Yeah, fuck it, might as well.
Are you having a stroke, friend?
Of genius.
All right. So Atris, you decide to get out of the carriage and take a closer look. Okay.
Sure.
Go ahead and give me a perception plus investigation roll.
If I see her do that, this
Mhm.
coupled with Liam talking, I'll just hop off the carriage and go
Okay.
join. And can I help roll? Or
Yeah.
can I roll myself?
I would say if well, yeah, go ahead and roll yourself since Atris already made the roll. So
Roll
for-
yourself.
Is it
Liam,
perception?
Liam, you stop the carriage while this is happening.
I'm
Ooh.
not making any motion that I need you to. I just run off. You know, it's real quick.
I'm not saying you have to. I'm just asking if you do or don't.
Oh, he's saying he just hopped off. He didn't make a motion for us to stop.
Right.
Yeah,
so
well,
I'm asking.
Sean's asking you though.
Oh,
I'm asking you as the person driving this thing if you're choosing to stop the carriage or not.
I'll just keep a slow pace.
Okay.
So what am I rolling? Is it investigation?
Yep. Perceptive.
Okay. There's my dice. I have so many ones tonight. Just so many. Well, that's double botch this time.
Moon's weird. Whatever, like it's just the moon shining off of the ice. It's just one of those things. Ain't nature pretty? Atris, you look at this, and again, it's under the surface of the ice. It is not on top of the ice. It is not, and you notice it predominantly on what would be the more shallow side of the riverbank. And Atris, you notice that this is, you look at it close, and you've seen this before. As a matter of fact, you've heard tales of prospecting in certain areas and the gold rush that was happening in California. And you get the idea that this is actually gold that you're seeing frozen under the ice, but in the water in the shallow ends in the silt underneath the ice.
We seem to have a little bit of a sparkle underneath the water. We have some gold under here.
Oh, it couldn't be silver.
I wouldn't imagine the Lupin would leave that lying around.
Gold, like you mean gold? Can I take a second look with my eyes with this renewed?
I'll say I won't make you roll again at this point now that they've said it out loud. At first, you take a closer look, and yeah, it has all the earmarks of gold in a riverbed. Again, there's little patches of it here and there. It's not like it's just the yellow brick road of like a weird, but it's just enough of it that the moonlight's hitting at just the right angle, that in the shallow bits where the ice is only a couple of inches versus feet.
And at that notion, Liam, and just like there's a Liam shaped cloud where the driver's seat was. Just
like Scooby-Doo status. There's just a smoke cloud, and the reins are still suspended in midair before they hit the seat.
As if someone dropped a penny in the same building as Mr. Krabs.
So yeah, Liam, you get off and you see where they're looking, and Atris and them kind of pointed out to where they're seeing it, and there definitely seems to be, as a matter of fact, I'll say you specifically, given who your sire is, and where they're camped out, you've definitely seen this before, although again, this is the middle of winter, so it seems frozen under the ice, but you definitely see the earmarks of what looks like gold in the riverbed.
I'm gonna pump 2 blood into my strength, and I'm just gonna punch a hole.
Okay, so I'll say definitely your obfuscate is definitely gone at this point. As go ahead and just make a straight strength roll for me.
I had a golder.
Were we people like obfuscated? I thought it was just the carriage was concealed.
But it was Cloak the Gathering, so you were in the bubble.
There was a Cloak the Gathering. Okay. Oh,
I mean, I just want Atris spoke to the group that if she was obfuscated, she wouldn't have been anymore.
So I'll say if Atris cloaked the group and Atris dropped it because she was talking.
Oh no, it did all the concealing. Atris didn't have anything to do with that.
Got it.
Okay. And I'm sorry because I'm still new at using this. So since it's a strength roll, does potence do? If I use my potence, does that give me 1 auto success, or does it just give me 1 more die to the strength roll?
What you can do is, without burning anything, potence just adds to your, for every dot of potence, you add to your die pool for strength-based rolls, or you can spend a blood per level of potence that you have and have them be auto successes.
Okay, I will just add the dice then.
Okay.
One Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 1 New York. Such a greedy bastard. 6 successes.
You guys watch as Liam, in his nice clothes and everything else, is on his knees at the side of this riverbank, just like Thor breaking the Rainbow Bridge in the first movie kind of thing, just smashing the ground as he is bam, crack, bam, crack, bam, crack, and definitely making a lot of noise as PETA turns his horse around and is just looking at you like, what are you doing?
You want to catch fish?
And
This might not be the right time.
and Henry's looking out from the carriage and be,
I think okay. By this point, just for an abundance of caution, Atrius will spend a blood point to cast a Silence of Death.
okay. So all of a sudden, everything goes deathly quiet as Liam,
Around the riverbed.
as you continue smacking the ground, and eventually the ice cracks and cracks and cracks, and you're able to get to the silty kind of river bank underneath.
Reaching it. I want gold.
Okay.
Where did you think this was going?
He is a great number right now.
I want you you reach your hands in, and you now have a handful of mud that seems to have a bit of sparkle to it. Again, this wasn't like lumps of gold that were just hanging out in the river.
Whoa. That was never the point of this shot.
So you now have a handful of semi-sparkly mud.
You know how this is going to end up? This is going to end up melted down, and the skull that Noah got is going to get a gold grill. That's how this is going to end.
I will say, you have to get, for those of you who have never been panning for gold before, it's a good day when you get more than like an ounce of gold at a time. So how much mud and how long, with it being around 6 a.m., how much mud and how much time are you going to take?
Oh, just that handful I got. I'm just going to sift through it and just wash it off, and I'll be done. So like 15 minutes.
Okay. You definitely see a few flecks of gold in the handhold, like enough where, like, if you've ever been to Knott's Berry Farm and they let you do that panning and get the little tiny thing of water that has like the few flecks in it. So I'll say you get a quarter of an ounce of gold.
Gonna open up my pocket watch, put it inside, and close it.
Okay.
Worth it.
Oh my god.
Now at this point, it is around 6:15-ish, and you guys are all feeling it as vampires feel when dawn is closely approaching. You feel that
Have we seen cover?
Um,
I'm sorry, but yeah, have we seen it?
if you're just glancing around, not that you see, like, this is kind of like you're on the river, the frozen river. There are rocks and things on, not only frozen in the middle of this river, that the water just kind of froze around, but also along the edges. Some boulder size, some just pebbles and things like that. And then you look around, I mean, there's trees every so often. But other than that, you're kind of on the other side of the plateau.
I'm walking near Peter and out of the cone of shame, silence, whatever, and saying we gotta sleep real soon, and think given we might run into more out here, we might want to stop to do that. So, you know, any places that are safe from prying eyes?
He kind of thinks about it for a second and goes, the difficulty comes from finding a place that's hidden but also protected from the light.
As long as we're inside this here carriage, we're protected from the light. So we just gotta not be found by them as is traveling through here.
I will say, everyone give me a perception plus survival roll.
Instead of making the roll, since I'm like pretty heavily injured, and could I assist Walter?
Sure. I'll say for everyone else, it's standard difficulty. For Walter, it's difficulty 5.
I know he's
Yeah.
got like a massive dice pool, so that should help.
Ooh, that actually added a success, and we're gonna re-roll a couple.
So I had to have higher difficulty because I have no survival. Difficulty 8, I end up getting 4 10s.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
I just got 4 successes in the end.
4, okay. 3 for Noah, 2 for Liam. You all start kind of looking around, and Asmodeus is looking too, and so is Henry and Bartleby. You all start trying to scope around for somewhere that you can kind of stash the carriage for the day that isn't just it chilling in plain sight. And you guys finally get the idea that there are, as you look down the river, there are a couple of the rocks that, and by the way, the river seems to be heading towards like a little bit of a hills, not quite mountains, but again, kind of like with the plateau, it's tall enough to be off, and it's off in the distance. But you do see a couple of the boulders that are around where this river is. You get the idea that if you wedge the carriage in there, maybe lead the horses a little bit further away to graze, and maybe even pack some snow around it, that maybe it will be a little less noticeable.
I vote we do that. We got to get off the road. Get
Off
in
the
there.
Start
road.
shoveling snow.
I'll start unhooking the horses.
All right.
As Liam is going to help, but I'm just going to make sure that I kind of go up to Bartleby, Henry, and Peter's like, it might be a good idea if we have some, if possible, if we have some living livestock available when we wake up. Especially Walter and Waya, they're going to need to consume quite a bit.
Bartleby, of course, is like, yes, master, as you say. Henry goes, all right, I'll see what I do, and Peter goes, I will help as well as help guard the horses. And I will say, everyone go ahead and give me a wits plus survival to see how good you hide this carriage.
Mhm.
I'm going to spend that 1 willpower I got back earlier.
Oh,
Okay.
finally, 5
All right.
successes. Let's
5
go.
successes, all right.
No, it's because last time, but 2 with the 8 because I have
Oh,
survival.
that's pretty good.
One.
Mine's pretty good. I got 3.
All right.
Maybe 2 for
I'll say,
Alright.
as a group, the successes outweigh the one. You know, Noah, you're like, I could dig a hole, but
Can I hold?
but with the guidance of some of the others who are a little more experienced on this, especially with Wea, you've even in your living days had to sometimes make shelters out of what was around while you were out on hunting parties and things like that. So you guys, and luckily none of you have to, who are inside the carriage, have to breathe, have to worry about, you know, anything like that. So you're able to kind of push this thing up against the rocks and then pile snow around it and on top of it. So that way, at a glance, it just looks like a snowbank that had been, you know, up against these rocks. And with the smell bags on top of it to kind of help mask your scent, you're fairly confident that at least it would make it very difficult for someone to find you guys during the day. And PETA says, I will make sure that we camp further away as to not draw attention to this area, but still keep you within eyesight, so that way if danger comes, we will be aware of it.
And actually, keep going. I need to check something.
And of course, Sonoy is going to stay with them too, as Sonoy is not going to encase himself in this tomb of a carriage.
I'm gonna spend 3 blood points to completely heal Sonoy.
Okay. You sit there and you use your fangs and kind of bite into your arm, and you command Sonoy to feed, and he heals up. As you see the wounds start to close and heal.
I'll also tell him to stick with the group that's getting the livestock during the day and to lend his assistance and strength to help them bring back additional fodder for us.
All right. With that, is there anything else you guys want to do before losing consciousness for the day?
I'm done.
All right.
Flop.
I just look at Noah real quick. I go, do not summon a horde of turkey vultures.
As you guys notice that Noah, who's in there with you, kind of cuddles up with this bundle of rags that he has. And you don't remember that being there when you guys started this mission. He's kind of using it like a pillow and cuddled up against it.
Yep.
And
Still
with that,
today.
It's
with
getting
that,
more crowded in here every night.
Asmodeus joins you guys, and you all lose consciousness for the dawn. Wea, go ahead and make a nightmares roll for me, please.
I just imagine Wea has a big freak out while we're all on top of him. We're like, hold him, hold him.
Oh yeah, that's like 4+ successes. Right
Okay,
there.
good. You all get a willpower point back. For those of you that need one. Danny and Chad, go ahead and roll for Bartleby and Sonoy. This is going to be a wits plus survival roll to see how you do with hunting.
He doesn't have survival on the sheet. Should I just use
That's weird. A
yours?
wolf definitely should. I guess they're just naturally good at surviving. I guess wits plus
Alertness.
Sure. 2 successes for Bartleby. Let's see how
I dropped my dice.
Ooh, those are some 1s for Henry.
Okay, I did really well.
All right, how'd you do?
6.
Nice. Yeah, and PETA did extremely well too. As Sonoy and Bartleby and PETA are there, and Henry as well. Bartleby and Sonoy see as PETA transforms into a wolf, and kind of partners up with Sonoy in tracking. You guys will see how they do come the night. You all wake up, spend a blood.
I'm still above half.
Atris, that better be your penis.
Oh, something hot on me.
All right, as Marius, let's get out of here, and he kind of shoves the door open, which kind of gets the snow to move as you all kind of
Town car fallout.
yeah. And laying before you, you see 2 deer, 6 rabbits, and 3 like grouse.
Grouse?
Think of them like wild chickens.
I've never heard of a grouse before. I will have to Google this. Oh.
I like just watching anyone
Ah.
beat off the animals.
Liam also cannot feed off the animals. He is just going to
That's a
take the 2
find.
blood points he needs from Bartleby
Yeah.
and let him go to bed for the night.
Okay. You summon Bartleby and he comes over and he knows the drill at this point, and you take the 2 bloods that you need to, and he passes out, and you kind of store him in the carriage.
Is there an overhead compartment I could just?
Not quite. No. All right. So I will say, for the purposes of this, blood pool.
It was something that we were really surprised didn't exist in the
Deer
are
is
the
one of
animals-
them.
Like isn't orangutan an option, but somehow other things
Yes.
weren't.
Chimpanzees are in there, as are camels, jaguars,
Jaguars.
yeah.
Obviously,
Okay.
the regional.
Common animals that you
Yes.
always come across.
So the horses,
Nosferatu.
the deer each have a blood pool of 3.
Mm.
The
Nosferatu are known to be zookeepers.
yes. The rabbits are going to have a, let's see here. When are they closest to? Rabbits are going to each have a blood pool of 1. And the grouse are each a half of a blood point.
Well, we're scrounging.
So who can feast off animals that need to?
We can.
Atris and I are out, so
Just me and you. Me, you, Noah.
And Noah.
Nature's limited vamps only.
How many blood points was it total? Can we just split it down the middle?
It was, let's see, we said there were 2 deer, so that's 6. We said there were 6 rabbits, I think I said. Right?
Yeah.
That's the one that I don't remember.
I think I said 6 rabbits, and that was so that's another 6 there, so that's 12. And then I'll say 4 grouse, that's another 2, so you're at 14 blood points.
And how much blood do you need to heal 1 egg?
3, and you have to sit there
5.
and
Do
it's
nothing.
5.
sorry, 5, and you have to literally do nothing for the rest of the night other than focus on healing.
Yeah. It's
Well,
pretty rough.
I'll say if I take the 2 deer, I'll be able to not frenzy and heal one of my current damage.
If I were to take 2 deer, then I would finally not be hungry anymore.
Do you have ag damage? Looking over Walter, does he have ag damage?
I know, Walter, do you?
Lyman? Yeah, I'm asking Lyman.
Just 3 of it. I believe
he
it
has
was
3 and you have
around
4.
Walter's collarbone area. As we're talking it out, just for the sake of kind of brevity, I'll tell you, I don't care about healing it up right away because I think I gotta be alert tonight. But
Well,
just that's my blood.
and how
Needs.
about you, Noah? Are you pretty wounded?
I have 2 points of damage, but I didn't think that was too bad. You guys are making it sound scary.
Well, what kind of
Ours is the
damage do you
kind that
have?
don't
Yeah.
heal.
Are
Lethal
you
or ag?
scraped or do you have holes in your chest? You have lethal or
I thought
ag?
I got scratched up.
So is it lethal or
So-
ag damage?
Did Noah get hit
I
by
don't
the
remember who
werewolf
volunteered.
skeletons
Oh.
or by the tribe?
Yeah, I got
human
hit by one
skeletons.
of the werewolf skeletons.
Oh yeah.
Did
that's
you
gonna be ag.
did you get bit or did you get slashed?
Yeah, it's different.
Flashed.
Okay, so I believe the slash was the ag damage. So then that means that so just for future reference, guys, do make sure you mark what type of damage it is, because it does depend on how easy it is to heal or not. So I'd say then that means that you probably have 2 ag to you, Noah.
There's unfortunately not endless blood. I'm just, I don't want to go crazy on us. I'm just getting real hungry. That's all I'll say to you two. That's basically what Walter needs. Do we decide to split it?
I will also remind you guys, just so that way you know, somewhere on your person, you guys have some of those red vials
Yeah, I know.
Sure
I
do.
do.
that heal ag damage.
Well,
Well, I don't
Walter,
have any of those, but y'all do.
if one of us has to be concentrating on healing themselves, then the other one has to be in top-notch shape. If it's me or you, and you're less wounded than I am, and Leia's gonna reach into his bag and pull out one of those said red vials, and he's gonna hand it to Walter. He's gonna say, "This will heal the majority of your wounds and keep you able to fight while I heal up a little bit more."
Oh, dang. Wow. This is one of them. I'm gonna keep this safe for now.
Yeah,
And
but
if we need it,
something
then I'll
breaks
take
out,
it. But
yeah,
if maybe something breaks out and you don't get to finish your healing for the night, maybe I'll hand it back to you.
okay, I'll stick close to you. But either way, if they need one of us on the battlefield, it's got to be you in this case, and that's gonna heal you 2 ag if you drink it. Just so you know.
And just as a point note, how many of those red vials do you guys have left?
I have one of both files. That's it.
I have one of the vials that cures ag damage.
Okay. So
I have the third one.
okay.
How
so
many ag does it heal?
Heals
Two.
2.
Processing.
So now, Chad, was that one that you have after the one you gave Liam, or including the one you gave Liam?
I don't recall giving a vial to Liam.
Sorry,
Right.
to
Oh no, I'm out. That's the only one
Okay,
I have is
so
one giving
so
away.
there's a total of 3 of them. The one you gave Walter, the one that Atris has, and the one that Liam
Yeah,
has.
that's it. That's all
Okay.
of our stock.
I thought they only healed one in my memory for ag specifically, so that's why I was asking.
Let me
Okay,
double check.
brother.
I've got it written down here.
Yeah, I have it
I'd have
on
to check my
index
notes.
card.
No, I have my full inventory list right here. No, it heals 2.
I'm
It's-
gonna add it to my inventory for the moment. Elder Vial, hell yeah.
And
Oh, actually, I'm gonna take my stick. Oh, Noah, that's right. You don't know about these. We
Go
found a
ahead.
very interesting alchemist in one of our fun adventures, but this would actually do you quite well. But if you drink what's in this potion bottle, it will heal you up back to full. My only request is that you keep the vial, or rather, I get back the empty vial afterwards.
Are you offering it to me?
I am, yes.
yes.
I think we should hang on to it. There's more battles to be had.
True, just the
We'll have
damage you
time
have.
here to heal.
Well, the damage you have would take what? It's 1 full day per ag plus 5 blood that you have to spend. So it would take 2 full days to heal up fully.
And 10 blood. Yeah.
And you can't do anything else.
I will say that Henry's kind of looking over all of you. You all look, I mean, a lot of you look kind of beat up. Wea definitely looks the worst of everybody, as he has this gaping hole in his chest where he got like shish kebab. And Henry goes, Wea, in the short time that I've come to know you, I know you are rather... sorry, no, we don't need the map. I can go ahead and close that. I know you're rather selfless, but seeing as you are perhaps the most injured, I might suggest that you take one of these vials rather than you being incapacitated and unable to aid your party should something else unexpected come up.
No, you're probably right. Like I said, if we gotta make a decision, I'll stick next to Walter. I'll make sure that if something happens, me and Walter can make a decision quickly.
We wouldn't want to be standing still for the whole day. We would really want to be, as active as possible.
Walter's just standing next to Wea right now, holding the vial back out at him.
We're just gonna kind of look around and just take the vial and like take it. Yeah, he's just gonna take it.
All right.
You're gonna drink it?
I'm-
Woo! Chug. Oh.
Yeah, fine.
No, wait,
If
no,
everyone's
down,
telling
rabbit.
me-
No, man. Not to put. So were you just taking it to hold on to it?
I was just gonna take it.
Oh,
and
okay.
have it,
We'll
like,
do.
And you
I just
pocket
misheard
it?
you.
Pocket it. You have it back in your inventory. So Walter, subtract that from your inventory. Leia, put it back in your inventory.
Talking about Indian giving, huh?
Oof.
There we are. There we are.
But yes. Okay. So.
All right, it's gone. They're accounted for, but
so
our
no one's
divvy of
taking- so no one's taking the vial. Wei, are you going to stick to what you were doing before, and you're going to go ahead and just focus on healing?
Yeah, unless we need to do something else.
Okay. Go ahead and spend the 5 blood.
I will shotgun one of those deer, goat, whatever the hell the bigger ones were.
Okay.
I was
So
gonna
that's-
say, are we divvying
that's-
up the blood? Can we do
Because
that?
I mean, again, you guys have 14 blood to
Yep.
Okay.
distribute among.
And a deer is 6, right? Or
the
5?
2 deer is going to be 6.
Oh, the
Each
2
deer is 3.
And then there's 6 rabbits at 1 blood point each. And then
Yep.
the 4 chickens, which
Give
equal
me
2
a
blood.
deer and 2 rabbits, and I'll be suffice.
Okay, so that's going to be
5 blood
5
out
blood.
of the 12.
Now this is going to take some time because again,
Or
you guys,
14.
the blood
Sure.
points you get back is just how much it's worth to you. You're
Uh-huh.
having to desanguinate these animals as you're
Yeah.
sitting there just draining the
Yeah.
entire amount of blood from a deer.
I'm used to it.
Are these male deer?
No.
Sure, one of them is.
Oh no, I'm genuinely curious because I'm if so, I'm gonna try and see if I can hack off some of the buck's antlers and see if that might be usable for these
Sure, I'll
lupine
say
claws
it's
daggers.
2 points on each side. And it doesn't take that much time, and you're able to snap off a couple of the antlers.
No,
I'm
do
gonna
you,
ask Wea, like, would this be helpful for our project?
Glug, 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 glug.
yeah, right. Noah,
Sure.
do you
Glug,
need
glug,
blood?
glug, glug.
Are you thirsty?
One of these.
Yeah, I
Why
told
did
you I was gonna
you-
shotgun him.
You're like,
I told you. I was
Literal
gonna
shot-
cut up top.
Swear to God.
Walter's trying to ask Noah if Noah is thirsty or not, and it's being very difficult to ask him for some reason.
Yes.
So I'm just saying it out of character now.
I'm just picking up rabbits and slurping them down. The
Are-
rest of y'all.
Well, okay, but the idea is that we might want to split these, so I was trying to figure out if you were like as hungry
Well-
as Walter is, so. If you
Oh,
need
no,
if you
no,
need
no,
at
I
least
was-
5, then just say that. But I was
No,
gonna
I
take
was
5
only gonna
otherwise.
take about 4 of them. for now.
Okay, 5, 5, and 4. There we go. Yeah,
Okay,
so
that's-
we drain these animals, it sounds like.
okay, so,
Yeah,
so that sounds
yeah.
like then between Walter, Wea, and Noah, you guys, Asmodeus passes and he goes, I'm still okay.
Nobody asked you anyway, bro.
Mhm.
I don't say that as far.
No. And it takes a bit of time. and-
Mr. only
And you
conceals
can
himself.
see that PETA is starting to look a little bit more and more nervous as he's constantly scanning the horizon and trying to make sure that you guys aren't being watched. And as soon as you guys finish, which takes about 20 minutes or so, we really should keep moving, especially now that there's the smell of blood. We definitely want to be as far away from here as possible.
What smell? It's all gone.
We tried to get rid of as much blood as we could for you.
We need to move.
Let's go.
When I look over and see, I assume Henry
Mhm.
exists. How healthy does Henry look this evening?
Give me a perception plus medicine roll.
Because he got hurt the night before.
We probably took more act damage than all of us combined during that battle. Felt like.
Yeah, Henry
So-
really got roughed up a bit.
I botch.
Oh, damn it.
He's
It's
fine.
so many ones tonight.
Fine.
Looking good, Henry.
Henry just kind of looks at you and he's like, oh,
Yeah, I caught him on the back.
oh, oh, motherfucker. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, let's go. And
Oh. It's not being over.
Before we leave, I'd like to snap off one of the foots of the rabbits and pocket it. I don't care if anyone sees or not.
sure.
I don't think
you-
anyone's
But I
gonna
figured it'd
judge
be
you.
dried out already.
Yeah, you sit there and kind of suck on the end of it just to try and make sure that like all the remaining bit of blood is gone, like sucking the head out on a crawfish. But it's one of those things.
If-
You can add a rabbit's foot to your inventory, and Liam, you can add 2 your antlers.
I'm gonna go over to Noah because if he's not trying to hide this, I'm pretty sure Waya can see him do this, and he's gonna say, one of our old members here used to tell us that eating one of those, swallowing one of those rabbit foots would mean good luck.
I'm gonna hold on to it for when I need it most then.
I'm gonna say, Waya, because I'm trying to remember this. Is this true, or are you just BS?
No, I'm fucking with him.
Okay. So I need you to make a charisma plus subterfuge roll. Noah,
This is
Noah.
not true at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember anyone
No.
saying that, but then again, we've been playing for over 2 years, and and then I need Noah to make a perception plus subterfuge roll, please.
I'm sorry. What's the lying roll I gotta make?
Charisma plus subterfuge,
Oh boy.
He's trying this with his dice penalties.
and Noah
Oh yeah. What?
perception plus subterfuge.
Well, this is good because Waya's not good at lying, so this is all canon. And I rolled a 1 and I botched.
Okay.
There we go.
You
I
did
only
worse than
got
if you
2
didn't
because
have
I
any
got
dice.
2 ones.
Okay,
rolled
but
this-
that's still
Wow.
You know that Waya's full of shit at this moment. Like there is not an ounce of truth in anything he just said.
Oh man.
And that's why I put it in my pocket and not my mouth.
You don't believe him.
Stupid.
You don't trust him for as far as you can throw him, and he's pretty big. So-
Stupid.
all
I
right,
can't believe that happened. Ugh.
all right. But I will say, for what it's worth, Noah, you don't pick up that there's any malice in what it was. A team
No.
member trying to give you a little bit of a ribbing kind of thing. It was meant
Oh, yeah.
as a joke, not as him trying to like harm you or anything like that.
Yes. Eat the rabbit foot.
He's trying to poison him.
Oh, I've heard of a Lucky's rabbit's foot, but it's I know it has nothing to do with eating it. So
Meanwhile, Asmodeus walks by and just goes, "I hear you have to shove it up your ass."
Oh my god.
Trust me, it's not
What
the
a
foot.
savage.
It's suppository.
Oh man.
Anyway, I assume you guys start to gear up.
I just
Yeah.
hold up the antlers
Yeah,
to
we're ready to
Asmodeus. I go,
roll.
hey, the buck stops here.
The buck better start moving because we've been
Well.
stopped all day.
Yeah, let's get a move on.
Now, is anyone going to cast anything to help with stealth?
Fair warning to
Yeah, I'll
everyone, the
conceal
stink bag is
hole
out.
if-
If anyone needs conversation, I suppose we do it now because the closer we get, we will need more stealth, and I will cloak our sound.
I got none.
At this point, Henry kind of pulls out his and then he realized, never mind. He for a split second, Henry gets excited and he like pulls out his notebook and like shows that they can write messages, and then he kind of looks at Noah, who's been cloaking all of you and making you invisible, and him going, and he just looks defeated for a moment, like he had an idea and it didn't work. All right.
Sad.
Noah, are you gonna do anything? Are you gonna cloak the gathering? Or are you gonna?
I'm just casting conceal for just the carriage.
Okay.
So the carriage is invisible. Whoever's not inside of it.
Okay.
Ask
So
the
there will
Idris.
still be the horses at this point. But at least it'll look like a weird group of horses walking than a giant carriage. And then Atris, are you gonna spend the blood and do the cone of silence?
Indeed.
Okay. I'll say then at this point, you guys are pretty good as far as stealth goes, as long as you stay within the cone, everything else. PETA continues to lead you guys. Him you can completely see, as he is not at all within the carriage, and you see him leading forward. And you continue. He seems to be sticking pretty close to the river, stopping every so often to kind of stop and look around. And it seems like now that he's on this side of the plateau, there definitely seems to be a little bit more nervousness of checking to see that there aren't patrols or things like that. I need everyone to go ahead and make a perception plus alertness roll.
Let's do that.
4 successes.
4 successes
one.
for Atris, 1 success for Walter, 2 successes for Liam. How many successes for Wea?
4.
4. Okay. You guys are looking around, and I'll say that's enough successes that there's 1 or 2 times where you stop and kind of hide behind some of the rock, because off in the distance you do see sometimes it looks like a couple of wolves running by, and at this point it's always hard to tell, are these just wild wolves or are these members of,
Are they snitches?
right, or are they members of the pack? So there's a bit of cautiousness, and every so often there seems to be moments where you kind of hunker down, knowing that you're invisible, knowing that there's no sound, and knowing that the smell bags are kind of helping mask the scent, but still being extremely cautious as you guys are approaching. Hour goes by, like I said, a couple of close calls, but you're able to feel like they haven't noticed you. But you definitely, if there was any doubt that there are patrols, the likelihood of that is starting to pick up a little bit.
Liam just thinks to himself, I remember that one time we got attacked by lupine and Walter just said, what are you waiting for?
Well, I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm just thinking.
All right, you start to continue along. Let's see, who got 3 or more successes on the perception roll? Atris did.
Oh, I did.
Walter, no.
Walter got 1.
Wea and Noah did. You guys, as you're going along, again, the moonlight's hitting the ice and snow that make up the river, and you start to see more glittering. And it seems there's one part where the river gets a little bit wider, and you see the sparkle underneath the ice getting a little bit, again, not supernaturally bright. It's not like it's emanating its own light. It just seems to be a little bit more intense, as if there's more of it.
Liam didn't notice this.
Atris will cautiously not let Liam know this because he does not want him to, burst out again.
Okay. I will say it's up ahead in the distance. As you guys continue, it gets to the point where I'll say now all of you notice it as you are approaching. And since PETA's keeping pretty close to the river and kind of using the rocks and things as somewhat cover, you guys do get to the point where you all kind of start to notice this shimmer that's happening in the center of this frozen river. And I'll say for what it's worth, at its widest part, the river seems to be about 20, 25 feet across.
So we're not looking at Mississippi here.
No. At least not at this part of it, that you're at. So yeah, I'll say all of you notice this at this point, and it seems to be shimmering in the center.
Liam is just gonna say, oh, I believe the next part of the cipher was follow the brother's cry. In darkness there will be light, and that looks like quite a bit of light.
Oh, you're saying this to yourself since it's cone of silence and no one can hear you?
Yep.
Okay. Do you do anything? Because I believe you're driving this thing. So are you doing anything?
I'm gonna start slowing down.
Okay. You guys feel as the carriage starts to slow down, and there seems to be a pause.
Atris go ahead and drop the cone.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys, you can start to hear the creak of the carriage and things like that. So you get the idea that the cone of silence has now been dropped, although you guys still are obfuscated. And for what you remember, as long as you keep your voices low, since there's no adversaries or anything right on top of you, it shouldn't break the obfuscate unless you start making a whole bunch of noise, or unless someone else outside of the party ends up coming like really close to you.
Better, more sparkle and more gold.
What gives? Liam want to make more jewelry? And of course.
I put my hand on Liam's shoulder before he can get any wild ideas or come back to his mic.
Right. Chris, this is the perfect. Oh, and we have Wea. We have both Wea and Liam who have. There we go. Wea's back. All right. Wea, I don't know if you saw if you heard this.
What's up? What am I doing?
No. So Liam slowed down the carriage. You all felt him slow down as you guys started approaching this part of the river that had the more glimmer to it.
Okay.
And Atris dropped the cone of silence, so that way you can all converse amongst yourselves.
I think we've hit the next part of the
Quietly.
cipher.
Which part was that?
The end of the tears?
It said at the end of the tears there would be light and darkness. I tried to follow the brother's cry. I think this is the next marker.
The brother's cries?
Well, we encountered the shoulders of the grandfather, and that was a bunch of skeletal ghosts. What is the brother's cry going to have going for us?
Well, the tears of the mother to their source was the river itself. But next was follow the brother's cry, in darkness there will be light. And I don't see how this can't be the darkness or the light in the darkness.
I assume PETA notices that we've stopped, and I'm gonna kinda...
Actually, he needs to roll, because I'll say, you know what? No,
Way over there.
He notices it because he notices the horses stop. The carriage is still obfuscated.
He can probably hear them clopping slightly too now,
Yeah.
for the first time in a while.
I'll say he notices, and he kind of turns his horse around and looks back at y'all.
I guess we're yeah, I'll like wave and motion too. I have no idea if he can see it.
I'll say you'll know that
Okay.
he can't because you're on the carriage and you're kind of looking at yourself, kind of like that predator shimmer kind of thing. And but he at least brings his horse closer to you where you guys are, so that way you can at a low volume converse with each other.
We're following the brothers' cries. Right now, would you say? Is this where in the darkness there's light?
I mean, we're not. I'm leading you to up at the before the mountains. There's a forest, and that's where I'm taking you to.
Right. I just assume Liam, who is a spectral figure that I can't see or hear,
I don't know where Liam went.
has heard this. But
Now that you're all here, while you guys are pausing, I need you all to go ahead and make a current willpower roll for me, please.
why is that?
Difficulty is going to be 7.
I regret asking anything.
Ooh. Ooh.
I got 1 success.
1 success. Okay. 6 successes.
Yeah, buddy.
4 successes.
Okay, so this is where I'm at. I have a 7, a 9, and a 10, but I also have 2 1s, so I got to reroll the 10.
2 successes.
My dice jail's getting real full.
2 successes. Okay. Let's see how Asmodeus does. All right. Atris,
Yes.
there's
I'm here.
there's something about the center of that river that you feel like it's really important for you to go out and inspect that.
She's gonna okay, where was she? I think she was sitting on the carriage. She's gonna start motion going towards that direction. It's like, I think there's something over here. And she's gonna
And for the record, it's not like you're hypnotized. You're still cognizant of what you're doing and everything else. It's just a very strong, your gut is telling you that there's something over there that you have to investigate. Yeah. And you notice that Asmodeus is in very much agreement of this. Asmodeus gets down off of his perch and he goes, yeah, I think there's something over here I have to look at. And you see Asmodeus and Atris start to head towards the riverbank.
Oh, they okay? As I'm just like standing there, not getting off the carriage. You guys okay? What's going on?
Sure. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just, I think I need to see what this is.
There's something interesting over here. Just come over here.
Oh, I'm not
I take it Liam's just sitting there, huh? So
I mean, Liam, I will say you have,
Walter's
Liam,
very
you have
confused.
the impatient flaw, right?
I do.
I'll say, I mean,
you could roll.
So does
Yeah.
Walter.
go ahead and roll your self-control. But I'll say with the impatient flaw, the difficulty is going to be like 8, because at this point, again, they do not seem to be like zombified. They are themselves.
Because okay, I have the impatient flaw, but I also have magic resistance.
This isn't about you being magically. You didn't need much of a reason to want to go inspect what you think is more gold. And
What
now
was difficulty?
8. And now 2 of your party members are giving you a excuse to get to go over and look at it. Okay, so the The choice is yours. You are not compelled to go over, but it's your choice.
I will cautiously follow them, but keep a safe distance from them.
Okay. All right. So you guys now see as Liam and Atris and Asmodeus start to head cautiously towards the center of the river. At this point, I think they're on the edge, starting to climb over some stones. Does anyone else follow?
Liam does say, though, I don't think this is a good idea. I'm just following them just in case.
Yeah, I believe that. Walter fake coughs and I mean, how many feet away from the river is the carriage? Is it more than 10 feet?
Yes. The carriage is about, at its closest point, about 35 feet from the river itself.
It's close enough that I want to dismount the carriage.
Okay.
And sort of stand there, arms crossed, judging these three.
Judge hard.
Okay. I will say that because of the rocks, it does make it kind of hard to, once they start to crawl over it, it would be a little bit harder to see them. But if you want to get like up on the rocks,
Oh,
the rocks
I
are
do.
right on. Okay.
I mean, I don't want to stand up like a meerkat and be super visible on the rocks if I do so.
No, but there are
you know,
rocks at
I wanna
different heights, so you
over
don't have to
them.
be at the highest one. But if you got a little bit closer, you could. How about everybody else? Noah, what are you doing?
Walter learned his lesson from Murderface. Noah's like, mm-mm.
Oh, I didn't learn. I was just observing from afar with the murder vase.
Okay, so Noah, you're staying put.
I am healing comfortably.
All right. Where?
Sorry,
How about
stutter
you?
there.
I am also healing comfortably.
Oh wait, so let me just check because I want to make sure I understand. Noah and Wei, are you attempting to do the where you did the 5 blood expenditure and you're just doing nothing but focusing on healing your wounds?
If I get interrupted, I lose that 5 blood, right?
Correct. The blood is still spent, but
Oh, you do? Damn.
Yeah, because you're spending the blood, but it's also the reason that ag damage sucks so much is the other stuff is just reflexive. Your body just kind of does it. At this point, you are literally closing your eyes and focusing on your wounds and willing your body to start to stitch itself back together. So you're focusing on the wounds that you have and willing on almost like a cellular level your body to start repairing itself, which is why it takes all of your focus and all of your concentration.
And then, you know, using your blood to do that as fuel, right?
The vitae is basically what fuels it, and your mind is what's driving the reaction.
You just spend 5 up front and then
I'm pretty screwed up, so I would like to spend time healing.
Okay. And Noah, are you doing the same thing? Did you spend 5 blood to just, are you focused? Okay. I will say then, moving forward, now that I understand that, you won't be able to cast any kind of like obfuscation or anything else moving forward because that's doing something. Like when you're focused on healing ag, you're literally doing nothing else.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand then. Couldn't even hold a conversation while healing. Okay.
I mean, I might allow you to have like a little, like, it's kind of like when you're really focused on something else and you can get, yep, like 1-word answers of just acknowledgement kind of thing. But think of it like meditation. You can't really be meditating and having a full-blown conversation at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ooh, that's gonna make it hard to conceal this party.
Yep.
Just a wee bit.
Okay. So Asmodeus and Liam and Atris are all heading out Walter, you're kind of staying on the rocky shoreline to just kind of keep an eye on this. I will
One
say,
rock eyebrow raised.
yes, I will say that PETA and Henry
Hard to do.
and Bartleby
Bartleby is asleep. He got I
Yeah,
took what
Bartleby's asleep in the carriage. Henry and PETA are kind of PETA's looking like I don't know that we have time for this, and Henry just is kind of keeping an eye on more of the horizon. Like Henry's more focused on watching your guys' six while you're doing this to make sure that nothing kind of like sneaks up on you guys. Okay, so Liam, do you get out onto the ice with Asmodeus and Atris?
No, I just go up to the line of the water.
Okay, so what I'm going to do then is let me just. I'm going to go ahead and share this map that I have just so we can kind of get where everyone is.
There's a map. There's
A
danger.
simple geolocating tool.
Fight. It's a fight.
Just
Don't mind me.
natural way
So this-
for us to.
So this right here is the carriage. Asmodeus has come out onto the ice. Atris is
Obsidian Spurs on ice.
An instant Christmas classic.
okay. Bartleby's with the carriage. I'm gonna say that Waya is here healing Noah. Is here healing Henry. Is over here, but kind of facing out to just kind of keep an eye on everything. PETA is over here kind of looking confusedly at you guys, like,
How much more fucked up can vampires get?
At this point, it's not us being vampires, it's us being dumbasses.
Feel
only
free to
actual
explain
dumbass I
that to
think is-
PETA afterward.
I think the
Yeah,
only
really.
actual dumbass is just Liam. The other two are compelled dumbassery.
yes. I'll say Sonoy's kind of just hanging out over here. And let's see, and then Walter, you're kind of over here with Liam watching this all kind of happen. Okay. So I need Walter, Noah, and Atris to go ahead and give me a perception plus alertness roll.
Okay. More ones. However, more successes. 2 successes.
2 successes.
Okay. I got like freaking 5 8s, 2 10s, and 2 6s. What is that? Like 9 successes?
9 successes.
What the
Okay.
fuck?
You can read the matrix in the gold veins.
Liam, what was your
Starting
successes?
to believe.
Oh, you said Walter, Atris, and Noah.
Sorry. Noah, never mind. I mistakenly said you. You're busy healing.
What was the roll?
It was perception alertness.
I've
5. Okay. Atris, as you're staring down, and sure enough, as you guys start to get out onto the ice, and you kind of test it out, and the ice seems solid, like it doesn't seem flimsy or anything else. And you indeed see bright, shining, almost in kind of a circular pattern, this big thing where it looks like there is a ton of gold. Now, you can't make it out clearly because at the deepest part of the river, it's kind of a bit deeper. You're guessing about maybe like 20 feet, something like that.
Perceiving a lot of shiny and gold substance.
Exactly. It's not exactly like someone dropped like gold bricks in there, but you're getting that it's much higher concentrated than what you saw before. I'll say with your 9 successes, though, you're peering down again. It's hard to see because it's not like it's glass where it's just a perfectly clear shot to the bottom. But you're looking and you see something that's like, huh, that doesn't look like rock. That kind of looks like bone. And you're starting to look and you see what kind of looks like an arm bone. And then you're looking somewhere else and you see what looks like a bit of rib cage. And then over there, you kind of see a skull. And as you're noticing this, and Asmodeus is just looking like, would you look at all this shit? I'll say, Liam, with your high roll, you start to notice that there seems to be, it's starting to get kind of foggy a little bit. There seems to be a little bit of fog in the air, and it's starting to get a little bit darker. Again, it's not like it's Storm from X-Men where a giant, but it's just a little bit of fog starting to come into the air. For whatever reason, the 4 of you, including Asmodeus, happen to notice that as you're staring at the ice, you have your reflections that are, obviously there on the ice. And you swear for a second that as you're moving and looking, you can't tell if it's a trick of the ice or not, but that your reflection is moving like a half a second behind you.
Well, there's definitely a lot more to that light over here. It just looks more like gold, but there's also a lot of more of those parts. Just looks more like ribs and arms, skulls.
Wait, you mean people dying down here? A human?
Oh, I'm not sure what to speculate, but maybe they try to dive in and look for the gold, perhaps.
I don't think we need to be diving in here, actually. In fact, I think Liam already tried that earlier. We got a handful. Maybe we should head back.
Now, at this point, is Atris compelled to interact with anything, or she's just visually drawn?
She's just visually drawn. There's no supernatural like siren song that's driving you in. It's just like you're looking, and that's weird and interesting in the same way that if you saw anything else that was kind of odd and interesting, you might be kind of curious at this point.
Okay, so at this point, her curiosity is more or less piqued, and she's trying to figure out what to do with this.
Okay.
I don't want to dig for this, unless you want to, as Asmodeus. Otherwise, may not want to stick around much longer.
Our employer keeps me pretty well flush. I'm good on the shiny stuff.
Liam has a bad idea.
What is Liam's bad idea?
Liam's bad idea is to goad Asmodeus to melt the ice with his black fire. He'll refrain.
Thank God.
Mist is starting to get a little bit thicker.
How long have they been out there?
Oh, at this point, it's been maybe a couple minutes as they're just kind of looking, trying to peer through the ice and see what's below the surface. But again, Wea, you're only semi-conscious that this is even happening because you're super focused on healing
Right,
at this
right.
moment.
All I know is my wounds.
Yes.
Henry, Peter, are you noticing the bit of denseness happening?
PETA looks around and yes, I am. And Henry goes, yes, what interesting weather all of a sudden.
Okay, I think it's time to go.
We need to
Adrian,
get moving.
I think Atris will start walking back at this point towards Liam and Walter.
Atris, you go to turn and you
Uh-huh.
feel, I forget, are you wearing pants or a dress at this point?
Pants.
Your foot seems stuck for a second.
What the?
And you look down.
Yes,
Oh,
sure.
no.
Your reflection is holding on to where your boot meets the ground, and you just see it staring back at you with white eyes, like no pupils, no nothing else. It's just staring out as Walter and Liam, your reflections, the ice breaks and they grab and pull for a second as they grab onto your ankles and try and pull you into the river.
Oh shit, I'm that close to the river? Shit, okay. Alright, I resist?
Atris
I
is
attempt to
definitely
jump out of the way.
Yeah, like I would like to try to dodge something like that,
I
particularly
need
because I have lightning
Walter
reflexes.
and Liam, who are not on the ice, so that's why they get this save. To go ahead and make a
Next athletics.
no, this is going to be a willpower.
Ooh.
You got this more dice, so
Difficulty is
Well
8.
then. That's my number of
Oh,
willpowers.
I get 9 dice.
I definitely get more dice if it's a dex athletics roll. Ooh, I should just start using these dice more.
Willpower roll, difficulty 8.
Continuing to re-roll dice. Continuing to re-roll more dice. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minus 1. 5.
5 and 5 successes.
And that's
Damn.
all. That's all DC 8.
All right.
I got 2 8s and 3 10s.
Shit.
Same.
Okay. You guys both close your eyes and kind of shake your head for a second. The ice is fine. There's no crack in the ice. But you notice both Atris and Asmodeus standing there just kind of like above the... Now, Atris, in your mind, what used to happen was your reflection just kind of staring up at you with these blank eyes and holding on to your boot, and then pull you through the ice down below.
She's definitely going to resist if there's an opportunity.
At this point, there isn't, just because you're on the ice, but we'll talk about, you get the idea that, well, you have no idea what's going on, but Walter and Liam, you see as both Asmodeus and Atris are just standing there on the center of the ice, not moving. And where you thought you saw your reflections break out of the ice to try and grab you, the ice seems perfectly fine, like nothing touched it.
There's fuckery afoot. Asmodeus looks the same as Atris, question mark?
You just see them standing there, backs to you.
Oh, she didn't actually turn around when she was trying to earlier. Okay. Hey, can y'all, the fuck was that? Can y'all get out?
No response.
Atris?
Atris, you hear nothing as that fog that came in is so thick it becomes like London fog. It's pea soup. You cannot see anything. The scenery, you shake your eyes and you feel like you're above the ice standing on the river, and you can't, I mean, you can see a little bit where there's like this rock up ahead and the other rocks, you know, you can kind of barely make them out through the fog. And then you see a figure standing to what would be your left, and you can just make out the outline of a humanoid figure standing like a couple feet away from you. But the fog is so thick that even at this close range, that's all you can see is the humanoid figure standing next to you.
He's gonna be shy. Just something's fucking grabbed me. Like that's totally enough.
Yeah. No response. And you hear nothing. You don't hear anybody else. You don't hear. All you hear is a little bit of like wind as this fog seems to be blowing in. So what I'm gonna do is at this point, let's go ahead and roll for initiative, just so that way I get what everyone is doing and when.
No one, please, no one, please, no one, please, no one. Oh, 7, okay. I can take that. I'll take that.
I rolled the 1 for you.
And then, so everyone go ahead and post it in the chat, just so that way we have a order here. And then,
David, you actually direct messaged me by accident.
Yeah.
And then I would say Liam roll for oh no, Bartleby's out. He is not
he's
involved
passed
with
out.
this. I will say, Chad, you can still roll for actually I would say at this point, unless someone go ahead and roll Wea and Noah. But unless someone comes and grabs you, unless you decide to try and break the concentration of your heal, you're gonna be kind of just focused on healing at this point.
Of course I roll a fucking 10.
Well, what are you doing? Sleeping.
But sleeping with initiative very intently.
Yeah. I'm the first who sleeps.
Seems like 20 for max roll.
Is
I rolled a 10. I'm sorry. I thought I was unmuted.
no, it's okay. Just go ahead and put that in the chat so that way I can. And then I need to roll for PETA and Henry.
And whatever fuckery's going on up there.
There's fuckery afoot.
Always.
Why is there always fuckery?
Okay. So that means that top of the order we have, let's see, 18. 18 seems to be the highest, so it's going to, if someone gets him out of it. Wea, Atris,
Yeah, top of the round.
Actually, I need to roll for the things. All right, so that's going to be Atris at 17.
Again?
Noah is okay. So Noah. Um,
I love question marks.
Do you? Do you love them?
Walter.
They might love you right now.
I love him
You-
as much as I like a spiked mace up the ass.
Well, I'm not here to judge your kinks.
I had your husband, however.
All right. So then that is going to be Wea, Atris, Noah, question marks, Asmodeus, Walter, Peta, Henry, Liam.
We're fighting punctuations.
Yes. Conjunction junction, what's your function?
Initiative.
All right. So, Wea, you're healing until someone Atris, you were
Yes.
standing there on the ice, surrounded by a dense fog with this outline of a person to your left. What do you do?
I'm gonna resist the fuck out of whatever's grabbing me and try to, get out of its grip.
Nothing seems to be grabbing you at the moment. And the shadow is where you remember Asmodeus being.
All right, in that case, I want to see if I can call out to Asmodeus and reach for him.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hey! Asmodeus!
You get closer, and as you get closer, obviously you can see a little bit better through the fog. And you see staring back at you, not Asmodeus, but actually a carbon copy of yourself.
And I thought that the ghost would be the strangest thing I'd see this trip.
Okay, so I'll say that's not really an act. I'm not gonna. I'll say that's more of a movement than an action. Is there anything else you want to try and do?
Aside from just swiping the fog, there's not really anything that I can think of to do aside from just trying to figure out what.
You can also choose to hold an action if you want to do so.
It's more like she's just figuring out what's going on, but like there's not really anything else to do except for just analyze whatever the fuck's going on.
You see the copy of you looking back at you, and it's almost mirroring your movement, kind of thing.
I swear this is going to be a Darkling situation. All right. Are you me? I'm just going to speak to it for that's the only other thing I'm going to do.
Okay. In a sense. And for the record, that was in a sense, not innocence. And I'll say, okay, so that'll be your turn. Then you okay. Noah, you're healing until someone pulls you out of it at this point. Again, it's one of those things of you kind of heard Walter asking if they're all right. So it's one of those things, again, it's kind of like being really engrossed in a really good book where you're kind of listening, you're hearing noises around you, but you're not really focused on what's being said or anything unless someone draws your attention to it. All right, that's it's now the reflections turn. This actually makes this really easy because you guys have no idea what's going on with Asmodeus. So
Yeah, because Aegis is completely separated.
Yep.
I take it you mean like also that Walter cannot physically see Asmodeus through this fog? And that's real fog?
You see Asmodeus and Atris, they're standing there where they
Oh,
were.
okay.
Because
Okay.
you and I resisted the reflections, we can see them just not moving on the ice.
Yeah, they're just standing there.
Well, I didn't know how much fog rolled in for those of us who might be sane, and also I didn't know if they were moving.
The super thick fog is what Atris saw.
All right.
There's still fog, but not nearly. It's the same amount as there was before. But more of that on your turn. So, Atris, you stand there as your reflection unsheathes its blade, its saber.
It's chipped saber.
It's chipped saber. And looks at you and goes, and there's a little bit of an echo, there's a little bit of a raspy, it's your voice, but there's a little bit of like if you were talking in a place that had like a high echo to it, so there's a little bit of a reverb to it. You got the letter. You know they've been killed. What are you still doing here? Playing with these idiots. Why aren't you avenging them?
Can I respond or?
Yeah, you can respond if you want.
You know it's more complicated than that.
I will say, mistake from the GM. She does not say you, she says we. It's a we thing. Why are we still playing around with? We got the letter, why are we still playing around with these idiots?
Like, because we know that it is more complicated than that.
And it's the most simple thing in the world. It's what we've been trained to do. And at the moment it says trained to do, you see it go in to for a attack that you've practiced many times. So go ahead and make a dex roll. And I will say that difficulty for you is 5 on all dodges during this.
Okay.
Because of your familiarity with the moves.
Is it just straight dex?
Sorry?
Is it just straight dex?
Dex athletics.
Normal dodge roll,
Normal dodge roll.
but with lower difficulty
And sorry, I
because
just
you've studied all her moves.
right. And then I'm just pulling up your character sheet. One moment.
I legitimately got 10 successes.
Well, let's see how you do. Dex. I mean, yeah. You dodge as you see the move coming, and it makes a slash with the sword, and you're able to duck out of the way from it. All right, that is its turn. Let's see how the other one does against Asmodeus. Okay, good to know. Walter, you're up.
The hell are they doing? I'll say to Liam, and then I'll I've been making a point to keep my main sack, like my bag, with me on the carriage, but I don't know if I had it slung over my shoulder when I came down here. I need a rope. I think I have to run back to the carriage.
Okay.
I'm gonna burn 1 celerity.
Okay. Go ahead and spend the blood. And what's your movement speed?
Done. It is 8 squares.
I'll say 8 will get you there.
Yeah, I wanna get to my bag and pull out my rope, and I want to fashion a janky lasso type of a deal. I just want to make a loop.
Yeah, I wanted to make you roll for that. You've been a cowboy for long enough. You know how to make a lasso. So
I'm hoping to run back to the near the shore, next to a rock that I can brace myself against.
Okay. I'll say that'll be about here. And I'll say, because it was your movement to get there, I'll say it's one action to sit there and get the rope out, make the lasso and everything else.
Yeah, that's
And
the
then
end of my
it's your-
turn. Yeah.
It's your celerity action to then get back to the riverbank.
Yeah. That's the end of my turn, right?
Yes.
Just to be quite clear, I'd keep a rock between most of my body and the river because I'm gonna be like bracing my whole body against the rock.
Noted. Okay. I'll say Wea and Noah, you are vaguely aware of the fact that you see Walter moving a little bit faster than normal. I mean, he's not the Flash at this with only one celerity burn, but like he's moving a little bit quicker than normal as you see him speed up, grab a rope, make a lasso, and then speed away.
While cursing under his breath.
Yep. You are vaguely aware that's happening. I will say at any time, you guys can choose to stop focusing on healing and pay more attention to what's going on around you, but you will not be able to heal for the night if you choose to do that.
I'm
But-
healing.
Okay, you're healing. I'm just letting you guys know that as both your character and as your player, you have the choice, essentially.
Thank you.
Okay. PETA is going to run up to where Liam is and go, what happened? What's going on? You're muted, Liam.
Sorry, I was sneezing. I was trying to have that not be on camera. I was like, oh, I think they're hypnotized by something under the ice. For a moment, I saw my reflection trying to pull me under, but I was able to resist, and it went back to normal.
Damn it. And at this point, he's gonna spend a round investigating, because at this point, because you mentioned going out onto the ice, he's uncertain on whether or not he wants to go out on the ice to try and pull them back out of it.
Walter's gonna call over, don't step on this. Don't get on there.
And you see that I'm trying to remember if I've heard about this before. And he's gonna spend most of his turn trying to like think about like his stories or anything that he can pull from that's going to be helpful in this situation. All right. So PETA's he's holding his action to see if he can do something helpful. Henry. Let's see. Parallel. You'll decide which one's the bigger threat. Yeah. Henry's gonna start hearing this commotion. He's gonna walk up without hopefully doing that.
Henry is very thin now.
As Henry slips between dimensions. And he's gonna walk over and look very concerned. He's gonna make a Dex Athletics. Yeah, he makes it. He's going to come over on this side and actually make a jump and jump on top of this rock right here. So that way he's not touching the river, but he's trying to get a better look at them. And you hear him speak. I mean, it's not like he has to shout back. It's not like the river's like a mile wide or anything like that. But he's going, there's something weird with their eyes. They're glittering.
All that glitters is not always gold.
Shit, they've been reading too much.
And that is their turn. Liam, you're up.
I am going to get on the other side of Walter.
On his right?
Yep.
Okay.
I was like, just tell me how I can help with this, and then I'm just gonna hold my action until his turn.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Top of the round, Wea, you're just healing.
I'm healing, bro.
All right. Atris, it is your turn.
She's gonna draw her own sword at this point to defend herself, and David doesn't know what to say, so Atris is gonna say something badass to her counterpart, and something about it's just something badass. I don't fucking know.
In Arabic, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I will say for the purposes of this, your reflection was speaking to you in Arabic as it was your native language. So, okay. What do you want to tell me? What you want to convey to it? Like, what are you trying to?
To remind us that hey, it's not about the fighting. It's about the overall mission. It's about the bigger picture, not just sitting here stabbing whoever slayed our allies, which is not a new thing.
Okay. Okay.
That's the power of love.
Are you going to do anything else, or are you just going to mainly try and converse with this thing?
Converse and defend myself for the most part.
Okay. Go ahead and make a charisma plus empathy roll.
Four successes.
All right. You start conveying to it that since you've been embraced, the clan has taught you that even the warriors are meant to hone their minds as much as their bodies and their skills in battle, and that a true warrior knows what their place is, where they need to be, and that while your original mission was to find this portal, that was the main, to try and find what happened with Patrick, but also to help find this portal, and that you still very much feel that you're on the right path. That was your main mission, being here, your whole purpose, and that being with this group and being with them is the right path, even if it doesn't seem like it's the most direct route to it. Yep. And it looks back at you and just goes, why try to pretend that we're anything more than what we are? We are a blade, we are a weapon, and we are being allowed to sit here and rust and not be used. All right. But at least it's holding the conversation. That is Atris's turn. Noah, are you healing or are you getting involved?
Huh? What? I don't even know what's going on out there.
Cool. You're still healing. It's now their turn. The reflections turn. Let's see. Go ahead and use Atris stats here. Okay. Just check something real quick.
Exactly what you're thinking.
All right. You see as it sits there and cuts the blade across its hand, and you see what looks like blood starting to coat it, and it starts to turn into almost this greenish ichor on the blade, and you recognize this as the technique of Scorpion's Touch. And in a movement that's a little bit faster than a normal person, which you get to be celerity, it is going to make another strike at you. You're welcome to try and dodge it.
Definitely will.
Once again with the 5 successes because of it being you.
Or the 5 DC.
1, 2, 4. 4 successes.
This time it seems to know how you're going to dodge and counter that, and it does cut you across the arm. So let's see here. Target loses number of stamina points equal to the number of blood points. So go ahead and make a note of this like off to the side because this is a temporary thing. You go ahead and lose 1 point of stamina.
Got it.
And it is then, let's see how it does on damage. That's going to be
Just stamina.
And you know, just from a mechanic standpoint, if a character's stamina ever hits 0, you're basically comatose.
Right.
All right, so let's see. Your sword is strength +2. So, oh, wait. All right. That is 7 lethal.
Yep.
Go ahead and try and soak it as you normally would.
She soaks 3 of that.
Okay, so you take now again, mark this off to the side for me because this is a interesting combat. So you're currently let's see, that was 7, you soak 3, so that's 4 lethal. Do you decide to heal any of that reflexively with blood or no?
I'll heal 1.
One? Okay, so make that then so it was at 4 lethal, I think, and then the 1 will make it 3 lethal. You guys notice as you look at Atris, you see a cut appear on her upper arm, and it across the arm you see the a little bit of the cut, and then it healed just a little bit, but it's still there. But as far as you guys are all certain of, Atris isn't moving still. No physical reaction to it, no response. All right, that is its turn. Asmodeus. Yeah, Asmodeus, you guys are watching as it would actually be a little bit hard to see this from the angle you're at. Yeah, I'll say you don't really see anything on Asmodeus just from this angle because you're staring at their backs. All right, Walter, you're up.
Oh boy.
And my action was held for your turn, so however you need to utilize me, by all means.
All right, I'm gonna throw Liam into the no. So
Oh, holy
Is it-
river god, please take this sacrifice.
spare them.
Take him.
Take him instead. Um, is it gonna be just in your mind one action to try to lasso, we'll say Atris, and yank her backwards?
I would say that'd be 2 actions because that's the action to sit there and make sure that you
Okay,
get the lasso hooked, and then the other 2 actually.
But you have
Yank.
my action.
Well, your action can help. You said you were using your action to. You're holding your action to help him.
if I were to instruct Liam to just, I guess, yank my body backwards. No, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna burn a celerity again. I'm gonna bless you.
Oh, thank you.
My son. I'm going to, yeah, try to lasso at Atris and try to loop this thing around her.
Okay. This is going to be a.
Like, I assume Dex is involved.
Yes, definitely Dex.
Is it athletics?
I'll say yeah, Dex athletics.
I wasn't seeing a similar thing. Let's try this out. Hope for the best.
And I'll
I
say
already subtracted my die. Yes.
I'll say only difficulty 5 because this is a non-moving target that isn't super far away.
Oh, she's like barely 10 feet from me. This is awesome. Okay, let's hope for not shitty rolls. Quick re-roll with the gem die. It re-rolled into a 1. Just gonna put that over there in the garbage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minus. Oh yeah, -2. Okay, 5 successes. So I think I loop her.
You get it right around her waist.
Oh, excellent. Liam, I'm gonna try to get her off that river. We got to get her out here and make sure if she falls or something that she falls onto land. You help me pull?
Absolutely. We leave
Try to help
Asmodeus,
me,
right?
or try to help me
So-
catch her.
Well, I will say this. You can either both choose to make a strength roll, or Liam, you can choose to assist Walter and make his difficulty lower.
Either one is probably fantastic.
I will assist to make his difficulty lower.
Okay, so you're both pulling. So Walter, I'm going to say this is going to be difficulty 7 as you realize that there is something beyond just the physical that seems to have them locked in place, and that you feel more resistance than what seems. This should just be a yank and she would come flying kind of thing, but she seems almost stuck. And I'll say, Liam, because you're holding your action, go ahead and make a perception alertness roll for me, please. You notice, Liam, as you're looking down at the feet of the boots of Atris and Asmodeus, ice is starting ever so slowly to creep up their feet and seems to be trying to like hold them. They're not sinking, but the ice seems to be like slowly coming up on them. So Walter, go ahead and make your strength roll with difficulty 7.
I was gonna say, is this straight strength? Is
This is
this like
straight
strength
strength.
athletics?
This is straight strength because you're just pulling
Tug of war.
with all your
Okay.
might.
With diff 7, okay. I have successes. And that number of successes is 6.
Shit. Okay. Yeah. You yank, and there's definitely some resistance, and with you and Liam both pulling on the rope, the ice breaks as you pull Atris off the ice. I'll say you're both here now.
I'll try to catch her before she face plants into the mud or something.
Also, Henry ran out into the ice.
He
Onto a
hopped
rock.
on one of the rocks
Oh.
out there without touching the ice. All right. Yeah, so you get her where she is now on the edge of the shoreline.
Whew.
As you
Do
look
I have
back,
the ability to drag her another foot away, or?
I'd say
There's
that'd be
where
another
I stop.
action at that. I think you've spent
Alright.
your.
You did
But I
it.
will say that you look at her eyes and almost mimicking the gold reflection underneath the water. Her eyes are just wide open, staring there blankly, no reaction, but you see like a glitter of gold sparkles in her eye.
Atris. Atris. I'll like growl at her.
No response, then
My
Atris,
turn.
you hear nothing. Okay, that's your turn, Walter. PETA, having taken the time to sit there and think, and he goes, it's their reflections. It's something about their reflection. They're fighting themselves. My grandmother told me a story. They have to use their mind to fight themselves. They have to overcome themselves and find inner strength.
Just imagine Asmodeus fighting himself. Probably wants to make love with himself.
So that's what he says. Henry is going to sit there and go, there are spells I know about something like this. It's not about the physical connection, although it seems as he's looking, he sees the ice creep up Asmodeus a little bit more, where now it's like up to his ankles. I think we definitely have a time limit of how long they can be on the ice, but I think beyond that, they have to be able to break it. I think if there's a way for us to stretch out our will to theirs, we can help them. But beyond that, I don't think they're going to respond to anything physically we do to them. So that was basically at this point, you kind of get the idea that PETA and Henry are kind of just looking, trying to think what they can do to help. They're trying to ascertain what's going on at this point. Liam, it is your turn.
Okay. I am only semi-serious. But is it terrible if we just leave him there? Atris, no guff from you. You're currently hypnotized.
I don't know, Asmodeus. What do you think of that?
No response.
I mean, only a true weakling wouldn't be able to get himself out of this type of a deal.
Just tell him we're gonna destroy the minigun. That'll snap him out of it.
You'll never get to see the minigun again.
They're instituting prohibition. Oh. So, I mean, just based on what Henry was saying, is there a way I can use willpower and kind of like push it at Asmodeus?
Sure. What what are you going to think at him, or what are you trying? Describe what Liam is trying to do.
Oh, like basically what Liam was saying out loud as far as like goading him and just like
Okay.
him like it's like, really? Do you need our help?
Okay.
If
Go
you
ahead.
do, we're gonna lord this over you forever. You know it.
Go ahead and roll a willpower roll. Your current willpower, please. Difficulty is 7.
Oh, line underneath means 9. Four.
Okay. You stare and you swear you see for a second one of his fingers give a little twitch. Like specifically his trigger finger. Like it just all right.
I think I did something.
All right, back up the top of the round. Wea, I assume you're wherever you are healing.
Move on.
Okay. Atris.
At this point, she's gonna get pissed at the fact that now this person's not taking her seriously, and she's gonna try to attack him.
Okay. Go ahead and make your what attack are you doing?
I have my sword out, so I'm gonna just try to standard attack towards her
Okay.
body.
Go ahead and roll your dex melee. It's gonna try and dodge.
Four successes.
Tie goes to the defender. He got a couple of one dodged pretty well, but it ended up getting 4 successes on the dodge as it again, you kind of get the idea that in the same way that you know its moves, it knows your moves, and you go in to stab as it parries with its blade, and the blade just kind of shinks off the other sword, and it doesn't seem to quite do, it doesn't make purchase yet. As it looks at you again, your brother, the one that used to be part of this group, is missing, and you haven't even tried looking for him.
I always was a fickle bitch.
All right. Atris, go ahead and I need you to make a perception plus awareness roll for me, please.
Two successes.
When you went to make the attack and it deflected it, you definitely, it felt like there was contact there, but it was almost like, you know, that feeling like when your hand falls asleep kind of thing, like you can kind of, you can feel things touching it, but it's not the same as it normally is. The senses are kind of dulled somewhat. It kind of feels that way over your entire body as you try and make contact. And I don't know, the physical attacks don't seem to be feeling the way physical attacks normally do. And it's making you kind of think for a second and go, okay, if this is in my head, since you're facing yourself, and again, you see no one else around, you're starting to get the idea that maybe this is happening inside your mind, maybe, rather than you being in the physical plane at this moment.
Gotcha.
Noah, healing up a storm. Asmodeus. Let's see how he. Okay. He actually succeeds that time, so, but you don't see that. Walter, you're up.
I'll shake Atris as I get this lasso off her.
Okay.
Look kind of concerned and I mean, hell, throw a lasso with one hand anyway. I'll just kind of clamp her to me, and I'll try to fit this rope around Asmodeus.
Okay. Go ahead and make your Dex Athletics roll.
Let's try that. Get my dice, and then the penalty there. And then carry the 1, because there's always a 1. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 8, but -2, so 6.
Yeah, you clamp it on him.
And I think that's my turn. I
It
mean,
is.
I'd like to shout at Atris, but it's more of the same.
Okay. Yeah, you continue to shout at Atris, and by this time you notice that the ice has gone up to Asmodeus's knees.
Oh shit, we better hurry.
All right, that is your turn. Peta's going to come over, and I'm gonna say hold his action, as is Henry, to basically they're gonna help pull with you on your next turn if that's what you decide to do.
Good.
All right, Liam, you're up.
Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of do what I did before and just kind of like kind of use my will to kind of push it out at him.
Okay. What do you say?
The one singular sensation every little step she takes. It's like, oh, even even Delphina wouldn't let herself get into this type of a mess.
All right, go ahead and make another willpower roll.
I love using 9 dice for this. Is it still div 7? You said?
Yes.
Okay, so six that time.
Shit. Okay.
And I got 2 10s, an 8, 2 9s, and then one of the 10s we rolled into a 7.
Okay. Yeah. You look at him as he very stiff, but he seems to start to shake it off, and he's just, what the hell is going on? And you actually hear him respond.
You fell into a booby trap. The funny word is trap.
Get me the hell out of here. And it is okay. So then I'll say let's go ahead and do one more quick round, since it is looking like it's 10 o'clock. So Wea, healing.
I'm healing, friend.
All right, Atris, you're up.
All right, she not gonna attack again, but she's gonna at least keep on pressing her points, trying to say, hey, you need to see the big picture. You need to not sit here and mourn everyone, because it's just gonna prevent us from completing our mission overall. If we stop and mourn everyone, we're just gonna be stopping it. There's so many people. We can't focus on that.
Okay. So you forego making a physical attack as you start making these points. Go ahead and make a willpower roll for me, please. Since you're here, it's standard difficulty.
Five successes.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. As you start to think this at it, you see it as it kind of almost like golden, like gold that has been crushed down into like sand. You notice bits of it starting to like slough off as its form starts to get a little bit weaker. It looks like you did it's still standing, but it looks like you did quite a bit of effect to it.
All right.
Noah, still healing? Okay. Asmodeus is going to go ahead and try, and he's holding on to the rope, and he's like, Yeah, go ahead, pull, get me out of here. But we skipped the other one. It's going to try and go ahead and make another attack on Atris. Atris, go ahead and make your dodge.
Five successes.
You dodge.
Excellent.
All right. Walter, it is your turn.
Don't gotta tell me twice. Heave.
I'll say with PETA and Henry helping you, difficulty is 4. Like, I mean, you have all these people pulling on the ice, so.
Hey, boys!
Yoink for your lives. Well, there were a couple 4s in this roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 success.
Yeah. The ice cracks around Asmodeus's legs.
5 successes, sorry.
All right. And you heave him onto the shore too.
Hey. Ugh.
And you
Yeah, you
notice,
just gotta keep
Good.
us working hard, don't you?
well, have to keep you on your toes somehow. And you notice as he's looking up at you, from the corners of his eye, there's like a little bit of like gold that seems to like a small shimmer that's coming down his tear ducts.
You are you all right? Did you eat some gold?
And as he's kind of like, what the fuck?
Kind of sparkly, friend.
Ugh. And he kind of like seems repulsed by it for a second. You hear PETA go, the tears of the mother. I understand. All right. Liam, your turn.
I'm sneezing.
Just imagine the sound of the sneeze, but you don't have to hear the sound. Sneeze on your own at home.
Oh, when my allergies go nuts, I can sneeze for hours on end. It's fun. Ugh. Oh. Okay, so is Atris out, like mentally out of this?
Nope.
Okay, so I'm gonna go over to Atris and do what I did with Asmodeus and try and push my will into her.
Okay. What do you think at her?
If you die here, you're never gonna get to use your boobs to infiltrate someone ever again.
All right. I'll say that works. Go ahead and do your willpower roll.
Oh my god.
Hey, I know her.
Her feminine wiles are at stake.
Yeah. I'll say with the successes that Atris did internally versus on top of the successes that you did, Atris, you're sitting there as the fog starts to dissipate around, and it just looks at you one last time and goes, Alamut will fall. And it collapses into a pile of gold dust. As Atris, you come back to it and you are surrounded by pretty much everybody. And yeah, you feel a little bit of dampness on your eyes as you touch it. You see.
Wait! Don't touch it! Don't touch it! And I reach into and I get one of my empty vials out and I just start collecting her golden tears.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me juice you a little bit. Hey, I don't know. I never know what half the time what stuff is going to come in useful for, but metaphysical gold may have usefulness.
And at this point, you guys notice that the fog has started to dissipate around the area, but there is still that shimmer that's in the center of where the river is. And PETA goes, I'm glad you're back. I think we should leave.
Field trip's over.
Oh, can't agree with you more.
Liam runs back into the center of the lake. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, Scrooge McDuck.
Literally swimming in gold.
Right.
Could be your near future.
And I'll say that's where we're going to go ahead and end things tonight as you all survive the tears of the mother. So
Oh, okay.
we'll meet next time to see how you do with the next leg of this, with the brothers' cries. And thank you everyone at home for watching. If you liked what you saw or are curious to see where this is going, go ahead and like, subscribe, tell your friends about it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to do so below. And until we see you next time, keep your fangs and your wits sharp, and we'll see you next time on Tumbleweeds and Tombstones.
Bye.